Get 'em. What is up, beautiful people? Welcome to How to Trade, formerly known as That Midday Show. That is the Crypto Queen, Sataya.
Hello, guys.
And
that's Sharif.
Hey, thank you. Adam, shout out to Adam. We're going to do a little bit of a shout out here. Wait for everyone to slide on over from the other stream. We got Matthew Booth, the OG Darwin, always dancing up a storm. Good to see you, my man. Vicyan Novak. We got Jeremy. We got Derek. Three Kings Media, Random Oddities, and BG said, shout out to Catmandu, Ronaldo. Enjoyed the fun with Josie. We got the OG Anurag Ezekiel, not Elliot. Naps, we got Eddie R, Big Bob Dub, Outsider Disinformation. Good morning to you, my man. SRMM, Mark Susi, Brandon Townsend, Mary L, Idris, Soul Queen 88. Anybody who has 88 in their name, I love. Shout out to you. We got, who do we got? Menjinder here. We got Cass. We got Yannick, Zion Lala, Mary S. Lyman, and Pro Day Trader. Adrian, yeah, we're all wearing white today. I promise you, it wasn't scripted. Gabriel, Valhalla. We got the OG Gorev, Airy Pages, Alaric, BJR. Let's go down and see if there's some other new names. We got Mikey. We got Stephen Ford. We got Shay Howdy, Trader Rob. Shout out to Nessa. Darius Golden as well. And we got Ron, Trader B. I got to shout out Trader B.
Trader B, shout out to you.
How you feeling?
Feeling good.
Good.
How about you, Sharif?
We were just discussing it off camera. We're both still kind of under the weather, trying to fight this bad boy off, but we're both here. So
yes,
we're ready to go.
We're here, ready to bring you that news, that trading knowledge. Let's go.
Anything you want to cover before we weasel into the lesson?
I'll wait for you to go to the lesson, then we'll get into it.
All right, guys, I'm just keeping my eye here on SGMO, small cap gapper du jour, the best looking one on my side charts right now, breaking out through that $1.70. It's up 36 and change. It's not the biggest percentage gainer on the day. That belongs to LRHC, but SGMO looking a lot better right now. I'm going to keep this one up on the screen, and we'll hopefully have an opportunity to trade that once we are done the lesson. But we're continuing our chat today on gaps. Specifically, we're going to narrow the discussion into continuation gaps, otherwise known as those runaway gaps. So get your pencils and pens and remove the wax out of your ears, baby, because we got stuff to talk about. Traders, today we're focusing on continuation gaps, otherwise known as runaway gaps. These gaps offer a strong signal for continuation of an existing uptrend. So let's, as we always do, explain the concept from a very basic perspective. A continuation gap is a gap in the price chart that occurs within a trending market. Unlike breakaway gaps, which we discussed yesterday, which often signal the start of a new trend, continuation gaps reinforce the current trend. Works both ways, as a long as a short. Here we go. You can obviously tell we're making higher highs, we're making higher lows. This would be the breakaway gap. Why? Because it's breaking through a key area of resistance. But we already know we're already on the way up. We're already trending up. You can see that. Higher highs, higher lows. So what is this thing? It's a continuation gap. We're not breaking out of an existing area of technical resistance or breaking down below an area of support. So continuation gaps keep the current trend going. And this is what it looks like a little bit over here. Higher lows, higher highs. We're not breaking out of a resistance zone or breaking down below support. So this is continuing the existing trend. And again, it works both ways. Just want to show you guys what it would look like from a bearish perspective, but I'm sure you guys can imagine that. So what are some of the characteristics of these continuation, AKA runaway gaps? Let's talk about the size. Continuation gaps can vary in size, but they often appear larger than common gaps. And we talked about common gaps and how they're the bamboozlers of the gaps because they quickly get filled. They don't really show you any directional change. So usually when you see a continuation gap and you have a comparator from a common gap, look for it to be a bit bigger. Timing. They typically occur after a period of consolidation or a pullback within an established trend. So we're not looking, for that key break of 200 on Apple. What we're looking for is, perhaps a pullback that or a an area crest that we created that we end up taking later, but we're still in that existing trend. There should be more higher highs and higher lows than a consolidation in the overall trend. Volume. Increased trading volume often accompanies these continuation gaps, which is indicating to you strong buying or selling pressure. And the price action here usually continues to move, as I mentioned, in the direction of the gap, which is reinforcing to you the existing trend. So here is a little bit of a look. So this is the breakaway gap. Why? Because we had no discernible trend prior to the break over here, right? We're whiffling, we're waffling. You know, we didn't have any consistently higher highs and higher lows, about this gap I'm talking about right over here. But then there you go. Now we get the higher highs and higher lows, and it looks like we are continuing up. And then this is the runaway gap. Well, why? Why is that the runaway gap? Because we've established a trend now, and we've already had that breakaway gap above previous area of resistance. So now the gap that proceeds that is going to be that runaway, or AKA continuation gap. And here's another look at it. So basically, we were whiffling and waffling sideways for a while, but then we found our footing in the beginning of 2023 over here with AAPL, found its footing at about $1.25, $125, and then we continued through that trend when we got that big boy gap at around 145. This is going back to February 2023, in case anybody's wondering. So why do continuation gaps occur? What are they saying? What is the market saying to us when one of these manifests? So they happen due to a number of reasons. One, increased investor interest. So a surge in buying or selling can quickly push prices away from recent levels, and that creates the gap. But there's also news or these economic events, anything ancillary to specifically the company, right? Positive news, negative news related to the asset, or even a sympathy play can trigger a rapid price movement. And then there's also the technical factors, right? Overbought or oversold conditions at times can lead to that sharp price correction or sharp increase and a subsequent gap to follow after that. So how do we trade these? What's the move here, right? Continuation gaps can offer profitable trading opportunities, but it is essential to approach them with a disciplined and objective approach. Let's first talk about the entry. So you're looking here for a pullback confirmation. What does this strategy mean? So you're waiting for a pullback to the gap, which can provide a more favorable entry point. And you've often heard me talk about this. Did we get that $200 test on Apple when we broke it? Answer is yes. Did we get that $300 test on Caterpillar when we broke it? The answer is yes. Did we get that 300 test on Pan W when it went all the way to 375? The answer is yes, Katina, man. So oftentimes waiting for those gaps to come back in, get tested, yes, you are risking missing the trade altogether, but if you get it, you're gonna have that big boy price. So that is the first thing. We're looking for that pullback entry into the gap level. Second thing is to identify those areas of support and resistance. So after the gap is formed and the price action moves, the previous support level often becomes resistance and vice versa. We know that from intraday trading. A pullback to these levels can offer a good entry opportunity, but there's also retracement levels. Where have we heard these before? Oh, that's right, that pasta, Fibonacci. I remember that one. No, retracement levels using fib retracement levels can help identify potential support and resistance areas within the pullback. Here's an example. A pullback into that 38.2, that 50%, that 61.8. I like how Mitch mentioned these fibs yesterday. These might be better or more suitable entry points once that gap is broken and then you've moved up a bit away. And here it is. Again, we're looking for the gap to get tested. So there you go. The breakout area is here. And we opened up. And then look at this. We come back in and we test that gap. And then that's where you would get in there. Entry continuation gap. So the breakout strategy is a little bit different here. So we talked about the pullback into the gap support level. That's not the only way to trade these. You can trade it as a breakout, higher risk, but certainly doable. So for more aggressive traders, consider entering on a breakout of the high of the gap for an uptrend or a breakdown of the low of the gap for a downtrend. This strategy requires a higher risk tolerance, as is a chance, obviously, of false breakouts. One way to kind of put that in your favor so you don't get bamboozled is to look for volume confirmation. Increased trading volume accompanying the breakout can strengthen the signal. Let's talk about where to put your stops, though, for these breakaway or runaway gaps. You should be definitely employing objective placement of the stop. So instead of placing a stop loss arbitrarily below or above the gap, like sometimes we do, use support and resistance levels. For an uptrend, for example, place the stop below the nearest significant support level before the gap. For a downtrend, kind of the opposite there, you place a stop above the nearest significant resistance level before the gap. And I would submit to you, make sure you are looking to see whether or not there are previous areas of important support or resistance in and around the gap area. Because if there are, it behooves you to use that rather than the gap area, especially if it's held up for a period of time. Let's talk about your profit targets, though. How do you weasel your way out of the trade and wet your beak on some profits? You can use fib extensions. These can be used to identify potential profit targets based on the size of the gap. I'm not going to go into that again. We did an entire level on fib extensions. Go on the YouTube homepage if you'd like. Type in Fibonacci extensions and see what comes up there. I know, Ram, I'm joking. Fettuccine Alfredo. All right. Moving averages as well, right? You can look for moving average crossovers, like that 10 crossing that 20 crossing the 50. How about the 50 crossing the 200? You can try to use those to basically try to put the odds in your favor. And last but not least, that risk to reward ratio with respect to profit targets. Ensure that you're using a potential profit target that justifies the risk that you took. So a generally accepted risk, is that 1 to 2, 1 to 3. Some people employ 1 to 1. It really depends upon you. And last but not least, just to close out here, confirmation is key. While continuation gaps certainly suggest a strong continuation of the trend, it is crucial to see confirmation from other technical indicators. You should be looking at things like the RSI, the MACD, moving averages, all to help confirm the trend strength and the potential for further price movement. I hope everybody prints up a story.
Sweet. Yes, so thank you for that, Sharif. He always has the knowledge. Hope you guys were listening because he was dropping those hotlines. But today I wanted to get into my watch list, and I actually wanted to ask you guys a question. So my watch list today is TD, McDonald's, Tesla, Boeing, and Starbucks. But I wanted to focus specifically on Starbucks because of the McDonald's, I'm sorry, not Starbucks, McDonald's, because of the McDonald's headline. So McDonald's reported an E. coli outbreak that resulted in 1 death, 10 hospitalizations, and 49 cases of illnesses linked to the silvered onions used in their quarter pounders. So states such as Colorado, Kansas, Utah, Wyoming, as well as portions of Idaho, Iowa, Missouri, Montana, Nebraska, Nevada, New Mexico, I feel like I'm rapping, Oklahoma, will be temporarily removing the quarter pounder burger from their menu. So that is a little bit sad because that is my favorite on their menu. It doesn't affect us, but
no,
for the states, that sucks. But so McDonald's reported that the onions used on the quarter pounder are different from the onions used on the food items on other things. So it only specifically is for the quarter pounder. So one thing I wanted to ask you guys, so it's believed that because it's not on a core product such as the beef, the incident shouldn't impact sales too heavily. But I wanted to ask you guys, and also Sharif as well, so since the bacteria is only on one item, do you think such a headline only impacts the company on a micro scale, or do you think it can be a macro implication?
No, I think it's definitely going to be micro, and the reason is I dug a little bit into this. It's specifically a type of onion, and they get this type of onion specifically from one, not producer, but distributor. Okay. So they're Xing out that dude. That guy's gone.
Okay,
right? They're going to get it from another guy. So hopefully they get it under control. It's just about making sure that there was no cross-contamination.
Okay.
So it's interesting, though, but 7% is a big hit.
Yeah, for sure. Would that impact you eating at McDonald's? Like, I know that it's in another state, but like just knowing it, would you kind of be like, I'm a little bit wary about
Personally, no. If I ate at McDonald's, it wouldn't stop me from eating there. No.
Okay. No. All right, fair enough.
I like that big extra, by the way.
Yeah, for sure. That's what I wanted to get into. That was like the meat of my question. Yeah, it didn't seem like, if you look on the charts here, it doesn't look like anyone, it's really stopping anyone. from the morning, there's a little bit of a dip to 290, 291.16, and then we just hold above VWAP all day. So it's not stopping McDonald's. People are still, you know, they seem like they're pretty interested in it. So yeah, nothing too crazy there. One thing that I had in mind was TD. This was just a little bit random, but I was looking at the price action on TD yesterday, and the fact that we just had this like strong bounce up from 56.40 made me a little bit interested. But one thing that I was looking at as well was, oh, I guess I don't have it here. I had it. No, I guess I don't. But I was looking at the strike price, and the strike price was around 57.50, and we bounced off of that right in the morning and then came back down from there. So I thought that was a very, very interesting level. And then why I'm interested in it as well is because we're approaching this previous day low around 56.40, and so I'm really interested in that for a possible bounce from there or a continuation for the short. So very interesting there. Yeah, and we're going to Adara.
Market news here, guys. It took me a while to find this, just coming through here a couple seconds ago. So it's actually coming a little bit after that drop, but we do have the Defense Intelligence Agency saying that they believe China will have more than 1,000 nuclear warheads by 2030, and that China has, quote, far surpassed earlier nuclear weapons estimates. So basically, Defense Intelligence Agency of the U.S. saying that there is going to be I guess, more than expected nuclear warheads coming out of China. I am not seeing any other news. If I see anything else, I will let you guys know. But from what I can see, that's the only thing I'm really seeing as we get that drop to the downside, guys.
Oh boy, nuclear weapons.
It's very sad.
Huh? Not like they didn't have them before. They had
true.
plenty of them. So you were saying.
No, that was like, I was just talking about TD, the previous day low for a continuation of the short. Looking at that as well, it looks like there may be a little bit of a bounce there. And then I was looking at Tesla, because Tesla has their earnings, I believe, today at the end of the bell, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, so looking at that, I've said this for the past 2 weeks, I still think we're going to 200, to be honest. Not necessarily today, but I do think that we're on the way there. And so that is my take on that, at least for the mid to short to mid-term. And then Boeing as well is something that I was looking at. They had earnings in the morning. And yeah, that is looking pretty nasty as well. We broke, you know, the morning low, and then we are approaching the day's low around 153.65. So definitely looking like a possible continuation for the short there. And then Starbucks as well. They had their earnings come out, I think it was yesterday. Yeah, yesterday after the bell as well. And this was interesting because there was like an earnings miss there, but it seems like people are kind of buying up the news, the negative catalyst. So that's very interesting. Like,
interesting.
What usually, like, when there's like an earnings miss, like, do you find that there's typically like a reverse action where people buy it into it, or?
Not most of the time, unless it was priced in. Like if the market had discounted, like this company's getting shellacked, and they ended up missing, but it wasn't as much as the market was expecting. Sometimes you get a bounce.
Okay.
But like not if it was a surprise. If it was a surprise miss or down, usually it reacts positively or negatively. That's just been my experience.
Okay.
I'm sure there are exceptions.
Okay,
somewhere along the line.
Yeah.
How about you? What do you think?
I don't know. To be honest, I came into the market thinking that it would be a short, but then again, it was like pretty extended from yesterday, like in the aftermarket. Like we went to 87.89, and then we had that like strong bounce up from 88.60, and then we haven't really broke that. So
right.
But I thought that at least there would be a break of not VWAP, but the pre-market low. But it doesn't seem like it's getting there as of right now. So it's crazy. But what are you looking at, Sri?
I'm in 3 positions right now.
Okay.
I'm looking at putting my stop out here for VRAX. I'd like to move it up. I have it a little bit lower than I would like it, so we're going to move it up a skosh over here, and that is the look. Now, what's the situation? I'm in SGMO. I'll show you guys my 5-minute charts in a hot second here. Just want to make sure we're all good there. So let's talk about why I'm in these bad boys. I'm not even looking at the Mag 7 right now. SGMO has been awfully respectful of the 10 exponential, so I'd like to base something off it. I know that it had a big double top right there in and around 170, but it did find its footing at that 10 exponential moving average. A breakdown below the volume weighted average price, it's all over for this trade. The other one that I'm in right now. VRAX. This one, I kind of broke my rule here, not going to lie. So this one did a nice curl off the 50 exponential. I was looking for something to retrace into the volume weighted average price. It's giving me, you know, that kind of fake rounded top, rounded bottom situation, and it's coming down possibly into that 50 exponential again. So I'll pack my patience for that one. Ion Q, I just dip traded this one and I got stopped out super quick on it. It is at VWAP on IonQ, but I don't think I gave it enough room. Now, if this ends up being a hammer candle on the 5-minute chart on IonQ, like this current candle right here, oops, then I will get back into this one. So it's shown you already its propensity to dip below VWAP and then reclaim it super quick. So if that is gonna be the case over here, I'm gonna get back in, but I needed to prove that it's gonna hold generally at VWAP and not continue to make lower lows and lower highs. So these two candles over here, we already have two lower lows. Obviously, this one is a lower low as well. But now look what it's doing. It's kind of forming that hammerish candle with that bottoming tail. I know from previous experience watching this that it gives you a nice move up VWAP if it is to hold VWAP. So stopped out on it already, but looking to do a little bit better if it forms that hammer candle. TVGN. This one's a big mover, guys, 62%. But let me tell you, I'm starting to notice that the winds of change are coming on these small cap gappers. What does that mean? It means that the continuity that we saw in last week, where you could take something predictably off the 10, off the 20, off VWAP, and almost, you know, three times out of 4, it would continue back up. That is not the case anymore. I'm finding it is like 1 times out of 4 this week. I'm just talking about this week as compared to last. So I'm starting to feel that small cap season may be dwindling to an end. Even though we get these big percentage gainers to start the day, they don't necessarily have that continuity into the afternoon. We'll talk more about that when we get back from Madeira at the big screen.
What we like to do here every day around 11:20 is take a look at the larger percentage movers on the S&P 500 to the upside or the downside. Before we get to that, though, make sure you vote for your ticker of choice because the top 5 tickers will be covered by Sean and Neil on the rundown at 2 p.m. You have until 1:50 to vote, and all you have to do is just go !join space $ticker, whatever ticker you want to vote for there in the chat. But it is a subscribers-only chat, so make sure you like and subscribe. The theme for today's version of this segment is going to be names on day 2 earnings moves. So not day 1, but that second day and how we're reacting. 3M selling off pretty aggressively after toppling and turning despite a strong open yesterday for MMM. Barclays actually raising its price target to 165, but 3M near low of days right now as we speak. Now next up, doing something distinctly different here is GE. GE Aerospace reported yesterday they sold off, but they're actually getting a price target increase from Wells Fargo. And also after that eVTOL news or clearance from the FAA yesterday, we have GE partnering with Lilium for eVTOL flight safety. So interesting look there. And last but not least, also definitely a bit weaker here is IVZ. That's Invesco. Yesterday, they reported yesterday morning actually to the downside despite 2 price target increases, one from Barclays, one from Wells Fargo. Again, if you're looking at these or any other tickers, make sure you vote by going !join space $ and your ticker in our subscribers only chat.
Come on, Ram. Did you know it was her birthday yesterday?
Oh, happy birthday, Ram Ram.
She likes to pretend she's Libra gang, but we know she's not Libra gang. She's a Cuspian gang, and I would say more on that Scorpio side.
Okay.
You know that Scorpio side.
Okay.
Have you heard of that Scorpio side?
No. Is it Scorpio season already?
It's very close. I think we did switch. Aren't we, Scorpio? She's giving me the look. She's like, what'd you say, boy?
She's ready to fight.
Yeah, she's always ready to fight. She chooses violence immediately. Yeah, no. We're kidding, Ram. We're kidding. Oh, yeah, she's like, keep my name out your mouth. I'm not going to say it. All right, guys. Stevenson. Somebody, before I get to Stevenson Etienne, he wants me to talk about AMD, gap down right now. But Bhavin Patel was telling me to look at Save. Save was definitely on watch today. It was on the watch list, shout out to Adara, because it had news. Can you believe it? We put it on the watch list because it has news. I know it's profound. Can I show the chart? Thank you. Here's the look, guys. Frontier Airlines looking at possibly saving Save from bankruptcy. We already know they are in bankruptcy protection right now, and that gives them all sorts of unique powers. The bankruptcy judge and the bankruptcy court can do stuff that you wouldn't be able to do otherwise. Gives you protection from creditors, yada, yada, yada. Basically, We know that their JetBlue deal fell through, and so now they're looking at weaseling into a different deal to kind of stay afloat. And that's why we've got this bad boy up on the day. Here's the 1 minute look right now. It did double bottom here at 275. And guess what, Bovin? That 275 was an interesting top. Right after that opening bell, we went red. We actually dropped at the opening bell. And then there was a seller of note, it seems like, at 2 3/4 before this thing got parabolic and broke that $3 area, 317 HOD. But look at this, Bovin. It comes back in, double bottoms off 2 3/4. So I like that 2 3/4 look. I also happen to like that 285, 290 look. It kind of feels the same thing, like this area top over here as the one we put in over here. So if this dips into 285, Bubba, I would say, maybe get in a trade there, ultimately with your stop being below 275. So you risk about 10 pennies there. And if we touch the high of the day at 317, that puts you into, about 1.5 to 2 risk reward ratio or something like that. So let me know how that goes. I like a possible 285 dip. You might want to front run it. You're only 3 pennies away from it right now, with ultimately your out being at that 2 3/4. Let me know how that goes. SGMO looks like it is now breaking down below the 10 exponential. And let me tell you, I only got into this because it held the 10 exponential. So I'm going to move up my stop to account for that. VRAX holding that general area at around 270. It's putting in higher lows. So there, I could be persuaded possibly to dollar cost average at a lower price to weasel out of this one. And what's the last one here? Ion Q, again, dipping down below my area, and there I just got stopped out again on Ion Q. This one doesn't want to hold VWAP, so that's it. I'm taking this one off my side chart, and I'm putting SAVE because that's 0 for 2 on it. I won't go 0 for 3. What are you looking at, Satea?
For sure. I was trying to execute a trade, but because of the switchover, it wasn't working right now. So I guess I will just be paper trading today and answering some questions. So I want to see what you guys have in the chat. We have, what do we got here? Man, NVIDIA. Let's look at NVIDIA. NVIDIA, yeah, I like this for the short, to be honest. Why do I like it for the short? It's below VWAP. It's curling to the downside. We have this downtrend since the morning, and we'll have a lot of lines. Let's get rid of those. Okay, so yeah, we have this downtrend from the morning, got up to around 141.36, rejected off of that level, and then I like this clean break to the downside around 140.60. Where's my bust stop level? Right here near these days bottom, 138.30. Maybe I would take a little bit of profits off around, if I got in around here. Let's say you're executing the trade here. I would take a piece off around 139.33, see if there's a possible bounce there, and then piece off the remainder, getting into the day's low. We want to make sure, though, we don't bounce near that day's low, so I would take a little bit of profits before we get there. So looking for the short for NVIDIA. I mean, wow. I mean, because I feel like because we didn't strongly get to that 150 mark, we're curling down a little bit. Am I still bullish on NVIDIA? Yes. But, today we have to make sure that we're looking at the trend, we're looking at the price action, and not looking too bullish there for NVIDIA. So shout out to that. And then someone saying Tesla low of day. Yeah, that was exactly what I was trying to get into, actually. Before I realized I couldn't execute the trade, I was trying to get in at 215.07. That would have been a really nice scalp for the low of the day, looking really nice there. Where can this stop? That is the real question here. What I'm looking at here is this a pre-market low? Okay, so the low of day from Monday is around this 213.87. Let's call it 214 just to make things easy. That would be my kind of bust stop level to see what we do from there, whether there's a bounce from there, whether there's a continuation, but I definitely think 214 is a place that we can get to pretty comfortably. But we want to see, it could bounce here, but we want to see, what it does on the higher time frames. If we go to a 5-minute, I want to make sure that it's not breaking above 215.54 or above this 216.40. But as long as we can kind of, even if it retraces up to here, I want to make sure that it's not breaking through that level. And so I want to make sure that if it does get up to here, it gets up near this trend line or maybe up to VWAP. But if it breaks VWAP, then my sentiment for the short is going to be changing here. But definitely looking at that. What else are you guys looking at? Tesla is going to 213. Is there a gap to be filled at 213? I mean, I think that is definitely possible as to whether we get it today. I want to see what it does at that 214, to be honest. I feel like, let's get there first before, we get into what it does at 213. If we get to 213, but 214, if we break 213, I don't think it's out of the books. So definitely look out for that. Someone saying Google, Amazon, Meta, all new low of the day. Okay, Google, interesting. Oh, wow, Google is taking a crap. Oh, wow, it is. I'm looking at that low of the pre-market low from yesterday. This is going to be my bus stop level around 161.95, call it 162. Yeah, that's so funny. So yeah, I definitely think that we could get there very comfortably. Oh my gosh, that is really bad. Looking at this would have been a nice trade, like off of the pre-market low around what 10.10 or around 11. You could have got a nice short off of there. That looks really nice. But my bus stop level 162 on Google, and see where we go from there. And then Meta as well. Meg 7 seems to be, yeah, everything is just going down. Does Apple look the same?
Apple's tanking too.
Oh, wow. So then the QQQs, I didn't look at it, but I'm going to assume that's dumping too. Yep, it is. And so, yeah, looking at that as well, my bus stop level for that is near Wednesday, October 16th low, and that one is around 487.90. So definitely looking at that. I feel like the QQQs, the Mag 7, they're all kind of moving in unison. So not looking good, not looking great. How about you, Sri?
I'm in a few positions still. I wet my beak here on UAVS. Small cap gapper just started pumping volume here right at 11 o'clock. Shout out to Pretty Dang Panda for bringing this to my attention. There's, I have my gap scanner on the top screen, but I've got 4 screens and I got to do the show and trade. So it's hard to always keep your eye on the latest movers. So when you tell me about them, I really do appreciate that, guys. So UAVS, here's a move, baby. This one started pamping, and I took it off 3. It's zigging and zagging with VWAP right now. It generally defended 3. It came right into the 10 exponential at around 290 and then got a quick bid. High of the day, 363, $3.63. Here's the data. It's $1 million market cap. All right, so it's huge company. 21.7 million shares traded today, and I don't have the data actually on this one. This is on the Amex, by the way, guys, on the pink sheets. I don't have the data on my platform, so we're gonna use trade ideas, find out what the sitch is. This one's saying 267,000 share float and a big boy short float, 24.1% of that 267,000, which is already minuscule in and of itself, is being borrowed for short. This one could get crazy just based on the float and the short float. Those 2 data points there, and the days to cover, 2.75. 2.71, so 2 3/4 days, essentially. And days to cover, basically, if it did its average daily volume, how long would it take to cover? And here it comes. It's breaking down below 3 again, but you can see the bid step in right at 3, booming it above. So make sure you are aware of how this is trading at the whole dollar when you choose your stop placement, because if you're going to choose it too close, in and around 3, you're going to get pushed out. I have a small amount left over here. We're going to see if this one wants to pop up above and hold above 3. Otherwise, I want no smoke. It's zigging and zagging, and here it goes. It's going to break down now below 290. Yeah, we're definitely seeing the lack of continuity on these ones. And there, I'm out of that one as it broke below 290, so we'll take a hit on the last little piece. Very interesting, these ones, man. They're definitely not finding the same type of momentum to the upside as they were last week. So it behooves me to be aware of that and not trade it in the same fashion, because it's just not. So we're going to keep an eye out on that. VRAX, I'm still zigging and zagging with this one. This one holding at the 50 and curling back up, but certainly finding support right at that same area, those mid 280s right there. VRAX up 65%. The other one that I'm still involved in right now, SGMO, not really breaking down below the 10, but not putting in any higher highs either. I am concerned about a descending wedge on SGMO. Area crest, and now resistance level at 160, all the while that 156, 155 flat bottom break could absolutely manifest. I've got an order over here, as you can see, Ram, to possibly take a dollar cost average in and around there because VWAP so close to that area. So if we do dip into, say, 155, I'd like to be able to wet my beak on some DCAs in and around there with my ultimate stop below that 150 level, not just because it's a $0.50, but that's where VWAP is as well. So those are the small cap gappers that are moving at the moment. They don't have that same, parabolic strength that they had last week. So we're going to need to be cognizant of that and either not trade them altogether or trade them in a different way and see how we do there.
Awesome. So this is kind of a deviation from what I usually trade, but it's on my watch list just because it's approaching near a psychological level, and it's DoorDash. And what the levels that I'm looking at is that 150 level. I like the fact that, we're breaking below VWAP, and I definitely think that 150 is a place where we might see some orders. 151, it has been fighting this level for a bit, around 150.70, 151, bouncing off of that level. But I definitely think if you are a bear and you're looking for the short, I definitely think 150 is a reasonable level that we could reach. If we look on a higher time frame here, it is trending up from, for a while since, it has been trending up, like a very distinct trend up here. But I think a healthy pullback to 150 is very reasonable. And so looking at that, someone's saying Microsoft and Google going to rip. Let's look at Microsoft. Okay, I feel like Microsoft isn't dumping as much as the other ones like Google, Meta. Very interesting here. We have. Do I see anything significant? I mean, the only significance that I see for a bounce is near this day's low here, but it's kind of curling down to the downside. What I'd be looking at is a possible bounce at this 426.75 level. Let's look on a higher time frame. Let's see if anything stands out here. I mean, we did have this strong push up from yesterday, and so I'd want to see like a consolidation of these highs from this level here around 425.35, and so I want to see a hold up there for the continuation of the long. Let's look on a higher time frame on the week. Okay, very interesting. Yeah, I want to see like on a higher time frame, like if you're more long-term investing, more swing trading, I want to see a hold of that 400. It is defending here around 409.16, but I want to see that break of 442 for the continuation of the long. Possible bus stop level around 450. So very interesting there. CNSP will test VWAP. Let's take a look at that. Oh, what is this? Interesting. Oh, okay. This is like a couple of cents. This seems like you question, Sharif.
Yay.
33 cents. CNSP. It's a CNS Pharmaceuticals. What do you think about this?
Pulling it up right now. Don't have eyes on it. CNS Pharmaceuticals. Okay, we gotta get up there, but as soon as we get back, I will look at that.
Let's take a look here at day one earnings names every day here around 11:40 on the midday show. And of course, if there are any tickers that you're looking at, earnings or otherwise, make sure to vote for them in the chat because you only have until 1:50 p.m. to do so. The top 5 tickers voted for will be featured on the rundown and looked at by Sean and Neil at 2 p.m. Just go in the chat, !join, space, $, and whatever ticker you want to look at. Boeing has been on watch for a lot of reasons as of late, but right now on watch here with earnings. First report under new CEO Kelly Ortberg. They did miss here, larger than expected loss per share, and they also missed on revenue. But we do have some other comments to kind of talk about here. They did have its CFO saying that they have a plan, quote, to address their balance sheet in the near term. That plan could potentially include, according to Boeing CFO, offering some equity and equity-linked securities. So that's what led to this big drop to the downside with volume. Around that same time, the CFO also mentioned that Boeing will have to delay its 38 per month production target here for 737, so might not be able to produce 38 of these 737s per month now. CEO Kelly Ortberg, though, also made quite a few notes saying that they have to work on their culture as a company and their reputation because the trust in Boeing has been, quote, eroded. Also saying that what's better is to focus on doing things really well than trying to do every single thing in a mediocre way. So Kelly Ortberg already had got some love from UAL CEO as well as, I believe, the GE CEO. So now we get to hear his own thoughts on the company he is now running. Let's take a look at earnings. Of course, what we really want to look at here is Tesla reporting after the bell, 410. Analysts are looking for 58 cents earnings per share and revenue of $25.55 billion. We also have Lam Research, LRCX, in their first post-split report. IBM reporting at 410 as well. Analysts are looking for $2.27 per share of earnings and revenue $15 billion. TMUS also reporting them before the open. We'll get UPS, Hasbro, American Airlines, and Southwest. Lots of earnings to keep an eye on here, guys. And make sure to vote for it, whatever ticker you're looking at, exclamation point, join space, $ ticker.
Adara, you played that so well. Good for you. Way to own it there, Adara. Way to own it. Anybody who knows, Adara, you know, just...
He has the jokes.
Well, there's a specific thing with this gentleman over here. We were basically reporting when the old Calhoun guy got booted.
Okay.
And they brought in this Ortberg individual. And Adara was like starstruck. She's like, oh my God, I didn't expect him to be, you know, so handsome. Right? Like, she said yum? Younger. I thought, I'm sorry, I didn't hear. I'm sorry. I'm getting attacked. Ram, jeez.
He does look good.
Yes. Hey, Satea's a fan too. There you go. All right. So it's not just you, Adara. Here's CNSP, guys. It's a good look. This is the one you guys wanted me to look at before we started, or before we sent to Adara. This one really started moving in the aftermarket yesterday. Don't really know why. I haven't looked at the headline, but it was awfully strong. We know a lot of these actually move in the aftermarket, not just because the news hits in the aftermarket, guys, but the halt parameters for these small cap gappers is not active. Volatility halt parameters is not active in the pre-market and in the aftermarket. So a lot of, you know, the small cap traders take advantage of that so they can, you know, have those outsized moves. In any event, it closed off at about 26 pennies at about 8 p.m. I don't know what it traded on Blue Ocean. This morning, it weaseled up into about 39 pennies. And then right at the 8 a.m. area, when we get those institutional prints, it printed around 47 pennies or so. It is now lower highs, a symphony of lower highs and lower lows. It's also trading below the volume weighted average price. So it's going to have to weasel above VWAP for me to get involved in this one. And as you can see, it's had multiple attempts during the trading day to get above VWAP, only to be pushed down. So somebody is trading this with the view of keeping it below VWAP, at least for now. The only other thing I can say from a long perspective is that you have a bit of a higher low from this area trough that we printed at 950. It was about 27 pennies. Now it looks like we're trying to defend 30 pennies, give or take, still below VWAP. Not for me at this point. We'll keep an eye out on it to see what the situation is. Let's look at the positions that we're in right now. All right, almost break even here on SGMO. Sadly, I did not get my ad at 55s. It seemed to have found its base at 56s. So a bit of a tough look there. VRAX got stopped out of that. I'm actually happy I got stopped out of that because I don't think that was a move. I'm in upward break even at the moment. Got my ad at the volume weight, or sorry, at the 10 exponential. But as I see it here, UAVS, the bamboozler in chief, it had me 0-2. And look at this, bruh. It just booms back above the volume weighted average price. That's frustrating. But here's the other side to that. Even though it is frustrating from my perspective, it's still putting in lower highs. So even though it did find its footing for whatever reason at 260, getting back above VWAP, this is showing me here that it's lacking any respect for the volume weighted average price. As such, I should not base my trades off it. It's still putting in incrementally lower highs. Each area top or each candle top is lower than its predecessors, so it's still putting in those lower highs. I'm not going to look even to short this at the moment. I think it's just far too volatile. Again, sub 1 million float, about 25% or thereabouts of that sub-million float is borrowed for short, so it can get parabolic, but that goes both ways, to the top side and the downside. So UAVS above VWAP again. Look, if this takes 363, we might have a different story on our hands here, because then that would change the pattern of lower highs. And we could use possibly that 350, 360 as that level of support off which to base a trade, possibly on a pullback. So UAVS, I'm going to keep it on the side chart, but I'm not pleased with it at the moment. We'll keep tabs on it. What's your situation over there?
For sure. So I am looking at Starbucks, and I like it. I really like it. And the fact that it's above VWAP, really like that. What is the price target I'm looking at? To be honest, an even dollar level, $100. Definitely think that that is, reasonable to get to. Not necessarily today, but I definitely think that if we can hold above that 95, then $100 that's the next stop. That's the next level. And so for those midterm, long-term investors, I definitely think you can get $5 out of this. $4 to $5, very easy trade. The negative catalyst, I feel like you're right. It probably was already kind of baked in already. And so maybe not too much to the downside there unless another negative catalyst kind of comes out. But I feel like it was already baked into it. So don't think that's too crazy there. TSM, what I'm looking at is this $200 dip buy. Why I like it, $200 even dollar level, psychological level, but also to above VWAP. I wouldn't necessarily get in as of right now. I mean, you could if you wanted to, if you're feeling like you're trying to rush things, but I definitely think a dip buy at 200 is a better take on that. You have, a better risk level there. You could risk around 196.60, which is the day's low, or a little bit below VWAP, around 197.88. But I definitely think a little bit of a dip buy before the continuation is not out of reach. What I would be worried about, though, is there is a little bit of a downtrend dating back from October 17th. This was just a couple days ago. And so a level that I'd be looking at is around this 204, 205 level for potential resistance. But as long as we could break through that, I am pretty bullish on TSM as long as we can stay above that $200 level. I think that is a really key pivotal level for TSM. And, stay above TSM, I would stay for the long. Break below 200, I would be kind of looking for the short there, but definitely looking at that. Apple swing to 235 looking good. Let's look at Apple. 235. Yeah, I mean, let's look at it on a higher time frame. Yeah, I mean, I don't think that is out of reach. It's only like $2.40 away from that, so I don't think that is crazy out of reach there. But if for the day trade, this is looking kind of bearish. I mean, we do see a base here on 233.30s. But in order for me to initiate the long, I'd want to see it get above VWAP here around 234.60 for the potential continuation. I feel like rather than getting in here and hoping for it to get to 235, I feel like it makes more sense for you to kind of initiate around 235 for a possible target, at aftermarket high from yesterday around 236.25, or even the previous day's high on Friday, October 18th, around 237.35. So I feel like it makes more sense for you to get the $2 out of that above VWAP rather than trying to kind of time the bottom to get there. But that's just my personal take, personally. Can you please take a look at SoFi? Of course I can. SoFi, let's see here. I mean, I'm looking at this. I'm not really seeing a distinct level here. I'm trying to look on the higher time frame. I mean, if we look on the higher time frame, if we go back to Thursday, October 17th, we do have this uptrend here. See here. I'm going to draw that here. So we kind of have this kind of range here. And so, I mean, as long as we can stay with this trend, I feel like as long as we could stay above $10, $10.35, this looks pretty decent as well. We do have a little bit of a double top here in the morning around 10.65. And we are kind of a little bit below VWAP, but I want to see the hold above 10. If you're swing trading it, definitely that $10 mark is whether I'd be going long or short. But let's look on the hourly. Yeah, I think that's pretty decent. I would say, yeah, keeping 10.50, holding above there for the continuation of the long, at least on the day. But if we break that 10.50, I wouldn't be surprised if we see this day's low around 10.38. Someone is saying, can you please take a look at NITO? Yes, let's look at that. NITO, oh, didn't you look at that? Or no? No, I guess not. This one is a little bit of a small cap. I don't necessarily have the best read on it, but from what I can see, it doesn't look that great on the day. I don't like this choppy kind of action. I mean, I'd really have to ask you, like, what type of play are you looking at it? Are you looking from a short term, a long term? If you're looking on a day trade, this doesn't look that great. The liquidity, doesn't look too inviting to me personally. But if you're looking for more of a swing trade, I mean, I feel like your targets would be 40s. This one is the pre-market high from yesterday, or even this 50 mark, which is around this, which is a psychological level. Like if you look at it from yesterday, it got up to that 51 or 0.5077, and then it broke down. And so that is, a very key level. And so right now we're at 28s. The levels that I'd be looking at is around 20s. But I really ask yourself, like, is this a day trade? Is this a swing trade? Is this a long-term trade? I feel like that is how I would assess what your target levels are going to be for the day trade. If you're not in it, I wouldn't necessarily get in it just because I don't see a lot of volume. It's more choppy. Me personally, I like a strong breakdown or a strong break up. I don't like a middle ground. It's just too stressful for me. But ask yourself that, and I feel like I would have a better answer for you in terms of a target.
Satya, can I just mention CGC?
Yeah.
Because it's moving here. Guys, CGC was a big boy mover. All of weed cannabis stocks were moving yesterday. They're moving again today. All my my weed watch list right now, everything is green. Get that? All right, my bad. And here's the look. This is the high of the day yesterday, 530 on CGC. We're at 527 right now. All right, so I need to see whether or not this is going to be an inside day, because so far we're ensconced by yesterday's high and low. We have a great breakout on our hands, especially through that 510. You could make the argument we rejected off there, that general area high 510, maybe 510, 509, 4 times, once, twice, OB thrice, and number 4. Then you got 3 big boy green candles to the high side, making that high day. So 527 HOD, but we know full well yesterday was 530. This is a good look. Now, a couple of ways we can trade this. We can get in here, look for that high day break. That's not my move. My move is I'm going to want to come in, the price action that is, to come into that 510 area. 510, 511, 512, generally this area here. Why? Because it's an area from where we rejected multiple times. So I'm looking for resistance to flip to support now that we've cleared it by a cool 17 pennies. So that's my look right there. I'm going to throw out an alert on my platform over here to be made aware if CGC comes down. Now, if I don't get the trade, I don't get the trade. Now, the other way to trade this is to wait for a 530 break and take from yesterday's high. And then you might have to wait for a little bit to go, maybe 540, 550. But then the move here is to wait for it to come back down to 530, test it as support, because we know it was resistance from yesterday. So that is my look there. Now, how I'm trading. I'm doing all right over here. SGMO, I wet my beak on some profits, but look at this. It's coming right back down. It's coming back down into the 10, and this two candle formation on the 1 right now is an ugly topping tail candle on the 5. I may not want any smoke, and here it comes. It's coming into my, I'm still leaving that 155 out there because I'm basing my out on 150, so I'm willing to take that risk. The other one, UPWK printing on this one as well. Took it out at 1270 where my long 56 is. Now the next level I'm waiting for is at $0.75 at 75s. We'll see what happens with this one. It's an interesting one right now. UPWK Upwork up 25.90%. I don't even know what the headline. It's probably earnings. Let me just have a look. Preliminary earnings. What? Oh, that's right. My bad. Okay, guys. Ram wants me to tell you guys that the afternoon segment is nothing without you guys. If you don't get into that chat right now and vote for your favorite tickers, you will not be able to see how the big kahunas would have traded your stock, but we will cut that short to get to Derek, the big guest, who's got breaking news.
Ming-Chi Kuo strikes again here at Apple. This is the supply chain analyst who will often tweet something, usually about Apple, sometimes NVIDIA or Tesla, right now saying that iPhone 16 orders, according to his supply chain analysis, have been cut by roughly 10 million units. This would be effective for the final quarter of 2024 and the first half of 2025. Also saying that there is no evidence that he's seen yet showing that we'll get a boost in iPhone shipments in the near term, at least due to Apple intelligence. I'm going to keep reading through this note, but AAPL taking a big move to the downside on a pretty bearish Ming-Chi Kuo note, also breaking below this previous support here around that 233 level on the 15-minute chart, guys.
Big move down for Apple there. Look for that 230 defend. I love Ming-Chi Kuo, man. He always drops hot lines, and they always seem to be negative. We're going to keep an eye out on what he says. Interesting analyst out of Asia there. All right, keeping my eye on this one. Upwork, thank you for letting me know, Sad. It looks like they're doing a reduction in their workforce. I'm talking about UPWK. So the market, seems to like that kind of news, Sateh, but, people lose their jobs, so we don't like to celebrate it too much.
No, that is for sure. Something that I was looking at as of right now, it popped up on my unusual options activity. And so VRT is what I'm looking at as of right now. Really like it. The fact that it's breaking below VWAP. We're having some lower highs here. So right here we had resistance 116.40, 114.90, and then again at 111.80. And so I'm liking this. The fact that it broke VWAP is why I'm kind of paying attention to it as of right now. What I really like is the fact that if you're looking on it on a lower time frame, like notice how these candles, like we had a little bit of a double top here, at least on the 1 minute, and it's just coming down. There's no green candles really printing. It's just straight reds to the downside. And so what I'm looking at, a target level, is near these days low, but this 105 level. I definitely think there could be possibly a bounce there. And then if it breaks that 105 level, I'm definitely looking at $100 as that psychological level. So very interesting there on VRT. If it does get above VWAP though, then my risk level would probably be around 112.20 if I'm being a little bit conservative here. If I want to give it a little bit more room, around 116.47, but definitely looking at that for the short. Earnings did come out today. And I feel like that is why, there's also increased volatility there. But looking for the short there, even though the earnings doesn't look too bad there. Yeah, it doesn't look too bad there. So yeah, that's what I'm looking at. And then someone was saying that the QQQs was looking like a nice bounce here. And so, yeah, I think a target level here, I want to see what it does around this 492.62 for the potential of a continuation of a short. I wouldn't necessarily want to get in here, but I want to see what it does around this 492.60 for a possible short there. But if we break that, who knows what we could do. The level that I'm looking at, though, if I am going for the long, is that $500 level. I'm just targeting those psychological levels for, I feel like that's more of a swing trade, more of a long-term trade. But $10 away, that doesn't look too terrible. If we look on the higher time frame, we're going to Adara. I will be back with that.
We're going to take a look here at what's happened so far during this midday session. We did have the S&P 500 and the NASDAQ taking a bit of a dive to start this midday period around 11 a.m. with the Defense Department reporting that China has more nuclear weapons or is planning on a larger nuclear, database than they were initially expecting. So potential nuclear news initially sending these markets a little bit lower, though there is somewhat of a recovery of the SPY as it tries to creep back into that 580 level. Of course, earnings on watch. We have Tesla we're waiting for after the bell. We had Boeing reporting and actually having some comments, sending it a little bit more to the downside right before the midday began. But let's talk about some other tickers on watch. CGC, we know a lot of these marijuana-related tickers, including Canopy Growth Corp, they have been moving a lot during the midday. I have not seen any news on these, but I was seeing more social media interest on them today than what I was noticing yesterday in terms of amount of tags. Also, they have decent short float. CGC is about a short float of about 9.5%. Now we have Apple. This one continuing to move to the downside. Supply chain analyst Ming-Chi Kuo is often known for tweeting and sending moves to the upside or downside. Today, no exception, though. We did have Ming-Chi Kuo quoting that, or saying that from what he's seeing, there's going to be about a 10 million unit cut for iPhone 16 orders effective last quarter of 2024 and the first half of 2025, also saying Apple Intelligence might not be as bullish for iPhone shipments as was initially expected. If these or any other tickers are on your mind, go in the chat and vote. Exclamation point join, space, $, and whatever ticker you're looking at. And with that, we have Neil.
Thank you very much, Adara. Missed the lesson of the day yesterday. Was in a good meeting, actually, a call about market structure and something I want to talk about a little bit later, but not today, because a lot of times we are creatures of habit. I know I'm a creature of habit, been trading over 20 years. You have certain key setups, you have certain things you do pretty much the same way every single day, and you get really, really accustomed to it. Now, when something changes, you need to find a way to maybe change your routine a little bit when you're adjusting to something new. So if you're watching the morning show, and I'm actually going to address Apple at the end of this here as well, because after that news, it's worth going into that. But when there's a change, you've got to be able to adjust. Now, I would have mentioned there's multiple stop orders and types of stop orders that we can use here at Real Trading. There's just a regular script stop that sits on our servers. We have another one which sits server side in not New York, it's actually Jersey where most of the servers end up being. Sits over there waiting for print, and then it fires out your order. We have another one which is called a stop flatten, which is the one I like a lot, that allows me to put out a stop, get out of position 25%, 50%, 75%, or 100%. And what it does is I can have that order in before I get into a position. Now, if I scalp out some of my position, let's say on this short, as I'm getting out of it, as I'm getting out, and if my stop is up here, or eventually if I trail it down to here, well, it doesn't matter if I have 10% left or 50% left or 75% left. It's just going to flatten the remainder of the position. So what it does is it ends up being a crutch that I don't have to adjust my order for share size. It's just going to get me out of position. And there's another quality stop we use, which is fast, that is for a specific number amount. It's good to use, and it's the backup, which is what I was using today. So you're going to note, first off, a lot of times I was getting out, and then there's an accidental long. Why? Because I covered some and didn't adjust. And then when we get the bottom fill, great, AMD worked, and I had my trail into here, didn't adjust the order into a long. Now, ultimately, didn't lose on that accidental long position because it was going up at the moment. Didn't lose on that accidental long. That one was a flat position. But over in McDonald's, it was a similar thing for me today. In McDonald's here, we're short, worked. Again, this time I got it right because I actually adjusted the order for the fact that I'd taken out the bulk of the position. In this particular case, when I had the short back on trend, first didn't work, this one did. Didn't quite break down that low to get into 97.5. So still in, stop out there, but still had stop order in from the previous high. Now, if it had been that 100% stop, I don't have a position at that point. So what happens? It gets me into a long that I don't want, and I have to punch out. So there's a few things that obviously I didn't do that I'm now doing, and I'm not going to make that mistake again today with any luck. Nobody's perfect. And that's just giving yourself an extra layer. So in my case, all that happens is every time I take a fill, I have to then go over and check out my script log. Look at my script log. Does it need adjusting? Does it not? It takes 2 seconds. And the reason why it's simple is Well, at the moment that I need to do it, the stock is working. Like, it's at this moment that I need to check my scripts, when it's on the way to the downside. So every time I take a fill, I need to adjust that stop, make sure I don't have any other ones out there. And then every time I have a down moment, check my scripts. Do I have anything that I don't need? Right now, I'm in Spirit Airlines and I'm in Save. Sorry, I'm in Save and I'm in Silver. Those are the only thing I need scripts on. So what I've been doing, I'm just going to use the example of Silver here. I took a fill on VWAP, on SLV just now, if we can come to my chart. And the second I got that fill, it's now like a reflex action for the rest of the day. Go back over, do I need to adjust the order on my stop? Do I need to move it? Do I need to cancel it if I am all out? And just make that extra step. It's going to be an adjustment. It'd be like if you change a key, your muscle memory hits the wrong one. You're just adjusting to something a little bit new. It'll be fine after a little bit, you get used to it. But obviously, anytime that you know that a change has happened, and I should have done better with it, I admit it. Anytime you know that a change has happened, you want to come up with that plan of action before. Hey, your broker came up with a new key for you to utilize. Okay, does it behave the same way as your regular hotkey? Does this new stop order behave in a different fashion? Is the order entry the same for it? And if it's not, then make sure you're double checking and triple checking, because really, how many times do we make an execution decision on entry, on take profits, on exits? The rest of the time is downtime. It's like an NFL football game. Most of the time, you're just watching commercials in a break in time. And then you do have a little bit of actual play in there. So in that downtime, you want to be double and triple checking to make sure that everything is okay. You can sit on your hands, but you should also be doing everything you can to ensure that you don't make keystroke errors, that you have the right stops out, that you have the right order prices as well. So it's a pretty simple lesson, but I think one that matters because it does add up. I got lucky in that when I accidentally reversed long in AMD, it ended up being a win when I just got out of it instantly. It is what it is. But ultimately, you don't want to have positions unintentionally. And you want to make sure that your platform is working for you. So when there is a change that you know about, which I knew about, it behooves you to make some kind of a change in your behavior to ensure that you're using those new keys or that new function correctly. Now, I do want to end this off by just a quick comment about Apple. Like, ultimately, like, how many times have we heard demand this, demand that when it comes to Apple? All the time. And obviously, if things are, sometimes it's going well in China and sometimes it's not going well, the sales in China. A lot of times, I think it has more to do with, hey, we're at all-time highs, and any excuse that makes it a little bit weak, it's going to run lower because things get skittish when everybody's in a profit-taking spot. Now, what you can do in a situation like this, in any sort of news base, what makes it easier here in this particular case to be looking for shorts, obviously, is you already backed off that high, put in a lower high, and then rejected. So you were looking bearish already. You broke trend to the downside. 233 was already support, and that got taken out. Well, in that particular case, someone just dropped something in the kitchen. Hopefully no one broke that, whatever that was in the kitchen. Your 233 is not going to be in play. Because unless you have this on the news break, maybe you do. Maybe you're already looking short through 233. If you were long, best you can do is have a stop. But once it's consolidating underneath, what I want to see is when we get back up and retest this high at 232, which it seems like we might, is there enough volume up here to take us out and above that 32? Because usually on a news-based trade, it's all the way back to VWAP or a key support break that I want to wait to fade it. But this one's disconnected. It's legitimately bad news. And I think what allows you to trade it off for the lower high, that 32 level, is simply the fact that we came back off of, clearly that all-time high. I want to make sure that you aren't doing excessive volume back into the 232 level. Ultimately, that's the other thing. And then thirdly, you want to be sure that you're not too tight when you take a short into the next support level. So on the daily, you're going to see, probably easier, I can show you on the 15-minute. See the 230 down here? That's why if I was going to play a short that isn't 233, the 32 makes sense. You got a prior close, you have an established range. That way you can have a relatively tight stop and you're not trapped at the bottom. But the short under 231, when you got that little 230 support in there, I think that's the trickier one. Like, which is the one that you can hold on to, which is the one that you're going to feel better about. So Playing on news after the fact is always a bit tricky because sometimes it's tempting to hit that low. But I think you want to let it settle down, make sure it's not doing excessive volume when it tries to break out that 232. Ultimately, 233 is the bigger level, but you might not get to trade off of that. So patience, allow it to set back up. And as the first part of the lesson goes, hey, your platform, your hotkeys, they are your tools to the market. That's what you're going to use every single day. When there is a change, you need to make sure that you adapt properly to that change. Check all of your keys, double check your order flow, because you only make so many executions a day and you want to make sure that they are right. I had a few keystroke errors because of that new stop that thankfully I got away with today, but ultimately it could have been bad. You never know. I could have accidentally reversed long and I could have made a top wick and then boom. So you want to be sure that you have a process in hand so that when there is a change, you change along with it and make it seamless. Good luck in your trading, everybody.
Thank you very much, Neil. Informative, eloquent, and just flat around awesome as always. Neil Roberts, every day around lunchtime, his lesson of the day. Around here, we call that Neilage. I don't know if you...
Yeah, I've heard you say that before, yeah.
Yeah, I like to use that term.
Neilage.
Neilage. All right, guys, a couple of position updates here just to remind you guys, or just to update you guys on still in save. Breaking news, get it, Adara.
Breaking news with McDonald's. I was actually watching this on the level 2 as this broke down aggressively here from 300. Right now, bouncing at temporary support at 296. But basically what had happened here was McDonald's releasing another update on its E. coli outbreak, saying that it's, as of right now, they think it's linked to their slivered onions, temporarily removing the quarter pounders from restaurants in 13 states and also working apparently with suppliers to restore here. But I'm also seeing some people say that they haven't ruled out beef as the potential reason for the E. coli outbreak. I'm not seeing any citation for that, but more furor, I guess, over this E. coli outbreak with regards to McDonald's, including potentially the beef not being ruled out as the reason for this outbreak. I will keep an eye on the store. If I see anything else, I will let you guys know.
It's not been a good day for...
They're not loving it. They're really not.
It is not a good look today. Hey. Thank you, Ram. It's nice not to be you know, O's for Sateo. Wow. She just
It wasn't
crapped
you.
all over me there. All right, guys, I was updating you about my positions before Adara brought us that hotline. Look, I took a nice 20-penny winner here on BA, but look, it's not really dropping in the way that I anticipated, I guess. The look was here on Boeing was that it got into the volume weighted average price. It rejected it at 156.50 and then curled back down. I'm not giving this that much room because I'm not, 100 or I'm not really, too, I don't know. I just, because VWAP has been eluding me lately, and quite frankly, this was the first time I think we got into VWAP. So looks like I'm going to get stopped out here for breaks above 19s. That's where my stop is, BA, but profitable on it so far. Okay, so that one I'm keeping my eye on. I'm happy with this one, though. This was a bigger position for me here. SGMO finally taking out that 68 level area, weaseling up to 69. I've got my target lofty here at 174, which requires a high of day break because 171 is the high of the day. I'm still involved in this trade on save. I'm in 91s. I'm break even on it right now. I'm looking for this to hold a higher low. My stop is based on this area. Initially resistance, now support, $2.86. It bounced off there, and I would, posit that that's not by accident because we did have an area of resistance there. So that's what I'm looking at right now in terms of, I did get stopped at a Boeing there for the remaining amount, but I have no problem getting back in. However, I need a candle to close below that 155.80. If we can make a new low there and not whiffle and waffle at VWAP. Look at that, moving right back into 156.50. This might be another opportunity for you, though, to get a better price, especially if we have a 3 and 4 candle holdup. I'm talking about 3, 4, 5-minute candle holdup at VWAP, but from the sell side. Oftentimes it does that, right? You get that kind of obvious area of resistance because it's been spending about 20 minutes or so there. Here's what I mean, Ram. So if we get like a 3 or 4 candle pattern, none of which breaks and takes VWAP, I'll get back in. Because then you've seen here the selling prove to you that it's using volume weighted average price as a level of resistance. If that's the case, fantastic. We've got an ad read with Adara. Get it, Adara.
This part of the show is brought to you by Firefly Neuroscience. Firefly Neuroscience has taken a bold step in advancing brain health technology. In collaboration with Bright Minds Bioscience, Firefly's innovative AI-powered platform has successfully analyzed data from a groundbreaking phase 1 clinical trial using advanced EEG technology to track brain activity. This data unlocks new potential in treating neurological and mental disorders, reinforcing Firefly's position at the forefront of brain health innovation. As they prepare for phase 2, this partnership signals exciting developments for the future of neuropsychiatric treatments. Firefly Neuroscience, shaping the future of brain health.
Thank you very much for that, Adair. What are you looking at, Satea?
Yes, so as of right now, I'm looking at Starbucks. I was bullish on it, but I'm looking for the short as of right now. Got in at 95.90. I'm looking to take profits around VWAP, around 95.66. Not necessarily like right at VWAP, but I want to make sure that it doesn't just bounce from there and then go up, because there could be a little bit of a liquidity grab there. But I definitely think that 95.66, it could reasonably get there. If we break above 96.56, I'm going to get out. I don't want that smoke, but I want to see it get down there very quickly. But I think reasonably, I'm going to give it some time. Was going to punch out because it bounced a little bit. It's at 98s right now, but I think I'm going to give it a little bit of room and go from there. Someone in the chat saying, what's your idea about Tesla earning? Almost everyone believes Tesla will be double miss. Could that mean potential bounce after earnings? Tesla, what's your idea about? I mean, I don't know. I don't really have an opinion on that. What do you think about that?
Look, I'm an Elon fanboy. I just want to make that very clear. And I hold Tesla shares in my account. But I think that it's going to get a little bit worse before it gets a little bit better. Just because, I don't know, I feel if he had something to tell us about the FSD software side, which is what really self-driving is about. It's all software, right? Okay. And a little bit of hardware with cameras and LiDAR, which he doesn't use. I think he would have told us about that. And he didn't. He kind of showed us a car and, you know, nothing really we didn't know. I want to hear about the software. What have you done with FSD that's better than the ones you're putting in the Model 3 and the Model Y that I had to hit the brakes on to stay alive? You know what I mean? Like, what did you do different? So that's what I want to hear. In addition, I want to hear about the Model 2. This is the cheaper car that is supposedly we're going to get mass adoption of. That's number 2. Number 3, Randy says they don't have capacity to make the Model 2, not yet. They need that Mexico plant, which is still not online. Okay. So, I mean, I got questions, but I mean, last time on the earnings call, he was a little bleak too. Like he wasn't, you know, making investors feel a lot better. He was, you know, demand is this, that weak. So I don't really anticipate him being all nice and chirpy on the call. He wasn't last time. Fair. So we'll see. We'll see. I mean, I don't know. No, the answer is I don't know. That's a really long way to tell you I don't know.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, I wasn't really like thinking too much about like the earnings, more so just like the price action at the psychological level, the TA with that. I just feel like it could get there before, like regardless of what he said, I feel like it was just going to get there before, you know, I feel like you really needed that bounce before anything really happens. But that good luck on that. Someone said, have Randy come and give his thoughts. Randy knows Tesla well. He's very insightful about Tesla. Yeah, get him back in there.
Where is he anyway? Is he here, Katina Man?
I am not too sure.
He's not here today, says the Katina Man.
Well, hopefully sometime soon he will give you his insights on that as well. But yeah, so looking at that Starbucks, let's go back to it. Okay, it's bouncing a little bit. Don't really like it as of right now, to be honest. I really would have wanted it to see the breakdown immediately, but we're gonna give it some time just because it is the 1 minute. Let's look on the 5. Okay, on the 5, it gives me a little bit more confidence. I like the fact that it's just we get this candle here, 96.19, breaks down, tries to, you know, bounce a little bit up, but we're not getting that volume there. So I have that conviction, but I feel like I might adjust my stop a little bit. I think 96.18, if it gets above there, I think I'm going to jump out. And, you know, if it continues forward, then I'll just jump back in. But I don't think I want to give this one too much room just because I wanted to see it get down there immediately. So that is what I'm going to do. So when in doubt, ask the 8 ball about Tesla. Tesla.
8 ball.
Will Tesla go to 200?
You're going to have a hard time reading it. The bubbles just kill that one. Katina, man, can we borrow yours, brother? Because this one just bubbles too much. All right, here we go. We got the Katina, man, and the Niels 8 ball over here. You want to do the honors?
Yes.
Since you started?
Shake it up, shake it up. Will Tesla go to 200? Oh my gosh.
What do we got? Yeah, because, see, you did the bubbles thing again.
Oh, I'm
this
so
is
sorry.
Yeah.
Yikes, I'm so sorry.
Good girl.
I can't really see it. I am sorry.
It says, it is certain. The one over here says it is certain.
It is certain. Okay, there
All right,
we go.
well, there you go. The 8 ball,
8 ball has spoken. That is, RTA there, the 8 ball has spoken. Someone's saying, thanks for checking. Yes. Okay, and so going back to VRT, I'm looking at this as well. It's a little bit of a choppy action below VWAP. I do want to see more volume here, but I think I'm going to post here around 1840s and hopefully catch the breakdown there. I am going to make sure that I cross at least, 5 to 7 cents because I have had a really bad habit of crossing only 2 cents and then I don't get filled and we're going to Adara, right?
Oh, no, we're good.
Oh,
no,
okay.
no.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, okay, yeah, go.
Okay. And 180, 108.40s, that is what I'm looking at right now. So I'm just going to go there.
I think we actually have to go to Dara.
Okay, for sure.
We have an update on this Ming-Chi Kuo situation. Ming-Chi Kuo, who initially, again, did post that the supply chain analyst saying that Apple would be cutting its production by 10 million units for the new iPhones. He said this 10 million unit cut is not per quarter. It's over the next 3 quarters, so Q4 and the first 2 quarters of 2025. So that would be just around 3.3 million iPhones per quarter on average with that production cut. So again, analyst Ming-Chi Kuo clarifying what he meant by a 10 million unit production cut. AAPL still trading lower though, guys.
Interesting update there. Thank you for that, Adara. By the way, the Katina man has returned, and he is still short Bitcoin. IBIT at 38 bucks, still bearish on that bad boy. Is more Trader TV working today, guys? No, so I just want to update you guys on that because the Katina man's positions and Neil's positions not available today on More Trader TV. So if you have any questions about what they're trading, feel free to tag Satya or I in the chat, and we'll do our best to update you guys on that. I'm back in Boeing, shorting it again, baby, because it weaseled into VWAP, and I'm waiting for some profits. Give me more money, man. Let's go. I'm waiting for 75s over here. It's down to 80s. Where are we short? We're short at 20s. We're 40 pennies in the money on BA over here. Appreciate you, Adara, waiting for that print to come in. 80 still holding up on the bid. The ask at 90 right now. A bit of a 10 penny spread. Not unusual for BA. We'll keep tabs on that. I'm very happy with the way I traded SGMO. I literally got top wick. I took a gamble, putting my out at $1.75 because the high of the day was 171. I got the point at 174, excuse me, not 175. And we're done with that trade. 41 and a third percent. This one is pamping. We still haven't gotten the fill on Boeing. Now, Upwork, UPWK. You guys see I'm long at 55s. This one, we got the couple of prints there into the 70s, but it is not showing me what I like now. In fact, UPWK is starting to do a rounded top. And if it doesn't hold up at 50 pennies, that is the end of the trade for me. We will wait possibly until it comes into that $12.31.30. A third, essentially, that is where VWAP is on UPWK. If it comes into there and it gets stopped out at 55s, then we'll look to do that there. I'm in CGCM, bang, we got the 5, where did I get it? 510s, I wanted it at 508s. I didn't get it at 508s, I got it at 510s. This was the level we told you about. It was the top end consolidation in the morning from 9:30 to when we broke at 11:45. Adair's got more news for us.
We have more McDonald's news here. It feels like Apple and McDonald's, 2 stories definitely being updated during this midday session. MCD kind of coming into this previous support here as we have McDonald's saying it's, quote, way too early to quantify the sales impact of their E. coli outbreak, saying that they were notified by the CDC last week. So this actually is a bit more of a known story than we necessarily thought. Said they haven't ruled out beef in the E. coli outbreak, so I'm just seeing kind of more comments coming out from them. That was something I'd seen rumors of earlier, but now I've seen confirmed. Apparently McDonald's saying they have not ruled out beef as the cause for the E. coli outbreak. saying that the outbreak has been linked to ingredients, not the stores themselves. So again, ingredients, not the stores themselves, apparently being linked to this outbreak, according to MCD. But they also did know about the outbreak about a week before. Apparently, we knew about it, guys.
Get down. Happy got the fill at Boeing at 75. Sateo, we're done with that trade. Save. I got stopped at a save. Crap.
Let's go.
No,
oh,
that's not good.
No, but for the other one, though, that's what I'm saying. Let's go for it.
Yes, I know. I'm just easy. Guys, save is at VWAP, so I could absolutely be persuaded to get in here. SAVE up 34.5%. I got stopped out because it broke this area trough over here. $2.86 was the area that I was earmarking, only because it acted as a resistance for about 20 minutes or so, unable to break through that level. We eventually obviously broke through it at 20 after the hour, and there we go. We gave it up there. So let's see if SAVE wants to set up at the volume weighted average price. It's shown its propensity to respect VWAP on the day, not in an absolute way, but certainly on a closing print way. What do I mean by that? Look at all this chop and churn at the white line. The white line on my chart is the volume weighted average price. Look at this, from essentially 1040 to when we got away from it at 11:15, there was a whole lot of chop and churn at the volume weighted average price, with most of the candles, except for these two over here, or this one, I mean, at 1040, closing below it. All of them closed above it. So if it wants to respect VWAP, which it's showing me right now, it might be, that's at 283 bouncing off that level, I'll be persuaded to get back into SAVE, but it's gonna have to hold up strictly at that level. You're not gonna see me, give this 10 pennies or anything like that. So SAVE in play, CGC in play, Boeing in play. There's a whole bunch of stuff today in play. Fabian, he knows what I'm going to say. That's the look there. SGMO is coming down, but we're out of that one. We're out of Boeing. Upwork, I just got stopped out of that. Okay, for the remaining amount, still positive on this one, though. Looking to add possibly at 12:30. Now, I'm not going to put a resting order at that level, but I will put an alert on my platform to let me know when it's weaseling in there. What's at 12:30, you ask? Well, that's where VWAP is. So does a big boy retracement in a VWAP, I want to be made aware of it to be able to possibly get in. So those are the ones that I'm looking at, Satya, right now. What are you looking at?
Awesome. So I took a little bit of a scalp on VRT. So I said I was getting in around 108.40s, posted there, got out around 108.15. So a little bit of a scalp there. Took that, bang, and I took my profits, and then I'm out. And then Starbucks, I was in that as well. That didn't necessarily work out the way I wanted it to. I got in around, where did I get in there? I got in at 96.17s, and then, that's where I got out. Where I got in was 96.03, and then I got out at 96.17 just because I didn't like the price action there. And so I thought there was going to be a breakdown, but I don't want to give it too much room just because we are on an uptrend. We have been on an uptrend all day, and so that's why I don't want to necessarily give it too much room there. So, made some money on VRT, lost some money on Starbucks. It's a give or take, but we're on to the next trade. We're not going to let this, stop us from making some more money. I do think I am going to get into this VRT again. I feel like I took profits a little bit too prematurely there, but I think this is giving me a lot more confluence than the Starbucks. I think I was really trying to, time the top with that Starbucks just because we had a little bit of resistance. But I think VRT is actually below VWAP. Starbucks is not necessarily in my trade. Typically below VWAP, that's when I like to short. It's above VWAP. Why am I shorting? That was really silly of me. So I think I'm going to hop in at VRT again. I'm going to get in the same place where I got in, 108.40s, and I'm going to post there again. So I'm just going to do that real quick. So VRT and Y. Put that there, 108.40. We'll cross we'll give it 5 cents, 108.35. And I'm gonna put that in there. So that is in. We're gonna wait for that little bit of a drop there. I'm looking to take profits around 106.23. That is like my main target, but we're going to Adara. She has some news for us.
We're going to talk here about these small caps. Sorry about that, guys. IWM not only now below 220, but actually rejecting 220 here. Russell 2000 still weak, along with the rest of the market. Now we actually have as well some small caps talk about UAVS. This is Ag Eagle. This is a day 2 move yesterday. It's CEO basically putting out this letter to shareholders that I guess was positively received. What's more interesting though here is the float in the market cap. We've got a market cap of just over $3 million. A float of about 720,000 shares, and 9.1% of those are going to be sold short. Now we have this one is SGMO. They had some positive FDA data with regards to its Fabry disease treatment trial yesterday. Now day 2 up about 30% here with H.C. Wainwright reiterating a positive rating on the stock. Sangamo Therapeutics. Last but not least, CGC. We know a lot of these marijuana and cannabis-related tickers have been strong with the last few days. Though, again, not really sure why. Seeing some mentions on Twitter, though, again, more mentions today than we saw yesterday. Up more than 2%, though. Definitely some volume and retail interest for CGC, which has a 9.5% short float, as well as other names like ACB and TLRY. If these or any other tickers are on your mind, make sure to vote for your ticker of choice because the top 5 tickers will be analyzed by Sean and Neil at 2 p.m. on the midday. Sharif will provide some color commentary there on the green screen. Make sure to go ! Join space $ in your ticker of choice. Make sure your voice is heard. Given until 1:50.
Appreciate you, Adara. Thank you for that. All right, couple of updates with respect to some of these trades. You know, looks like we're finding some resistance here on CGC at 516 or so. I still am of the opinion that this 508 is an important area. We'll have to see if it holds. The stop's already in place. CGC coming off the highs and in a bit of a range right now. If I could kind of gauge the range, about 508 to maybe about 518, about a 10 penny range or so there. UAVS, given this one to about $3, want to see if it wants to bounce off this general area here. We'll keep an eye out on that one. Boeing is still continuing to go down. It's a 4-candle rejection now, 4 red candle rejection off the volume weighted average price, coming into 155 on Boeing, with the low of the day being essentially that 153.5, a little bit above that 153.53, technically the low of the day. SGMO, we're already done with that one. We're back in a save over here, as I said I would, at the volume weighted average price. We have a 1 red candle hold up, which respected VWAP to the T. Let's see if this current candle right now, printing 286, wants to work back up. We'll keep eyes on that. Upwork did stop me out, so I'm a little disappointed with this one. I didn't have much on it, but I would have liked to hold on to the amount that I had, Ram, but this one dipped down, stopped me out. Now it's curling back up again. I still have my alert, as you can see, above the volume weighted average price, possibly. If it does dip into there, I want to be made aware of that so I can weasel into a trade possibly there. So we'll keep tabs on all these bad boys here. Let's see what this one is doing. So UAVS, which is the kind of the very volatile name right now, putting in a bit of a bottoming tail. Let's see if we can get a bit of a bid. I'm a bit lofty with my profit target on this one, sitting at 340s, but I think that this one has the ability to get parabolic. We already told you about this one, sub 1 million float. It's about 200 some odd thousand share float, and the short float on it is ridiculous given the relative size of the float. It's about 25% or so of that 250,000. So here we go. It's trying to hold up at VWAP right now. I'm a little lofty with my profit target sitting at 340, but we'll see exactly what happens there. Satea, how you doing over there?
Yeah, so I'm looking at this Boeing, and I was really convicted with that short as of right now. We have a little bit of a bounce on the 1 minute. Let's look on the 5 minute. I mean, as soon as I get in, it just wants to do the opposite. What the heck? So I think I'm going to hop out of that bus because I don't like that. Yeah, it's looking like it's going to VWAP here. And so I think I'm just going to hop out. Don't really like the look of that. Drug, what's going on there? Ooh.
It just broke from 47 into 55.
Let's go.
Holy cow.
Oh.
You have it?
No, I don't have it on.
I'll do it. I'll do
Pop it up.
No, just finish and then I'll do it. It's okay.
For sure. And so, yeah, with Boeing, I'm just going to mark it out because don't really like the look of that. So going to get out of that. Get me out. Get me out.
All right. Yeah, guys, drug, I don't know what's going on here. I don't have any news. I mean, you don't really need news with this one because it just, does its own thing. This is the 1 minute look right now, not the 5 on DRUG. Let me just throw up the ticker there for you guys, the watermark, so everybody can follow along. 54.93, and now it's down to 52 2/3. So yeah, if you're gonna trade this, size in accordingly, use proper risk management, because Brendo kept showing me different pictures of people who posted their losses on Twitter trying to short this thing, with some people with eye-watering losses, 6-figure losses on this. So yeah, that just gives you the idea. Now it can bamboozle you both ways, both long and short. It's not just for people who took this bad boy short that got squeezed. So it can hurt you both ways. So keep your eye out on that one. I will not be trading it. Still keeping my eye on UAVS. It's really unable to retake VWAP. I'm looking for this thing to move back into about 3.5. It's still putting in higher lows if I'm to base the troughs at the 20 exponential on the 5 minute. It's generally holding that area, so we'll keep an eye on there. CGC back up to 515, but we know from previous ascents that there is a seller of note, and it seems like that seller is moving down incrementally. Look at this topping tail into 517. Then the subsequent 1 minute candles, 516. Now we're having trouble with 515. This is what we would see on the book, where big size would incrementally move down a penny or two on the book. You're getting that same look on the chart, right? It's just different ways of interpreting that same information, Ram. So this is what I'm talking about right now. 517 double top, 516, and now I know for certain we're having trouble with 515. Let's see if we can take them out. There's nothing on the book here to justify this kind of size not being overwhelmed. In fact, if you look over here about the size on 514, it overwhelms the size on 15, so that tells you likely we got a hidden order in and around there somewhere. So packing my patience with these trades, still in save in 3 positions right now, looking for this one to move up. But somebody was asking me about AMD multiple times, and I'm so sorry. Every time I want to look at AMD for you, I get busy doing something else. I'm just looking for your comment in the chat right now, but I don't see it. So if you can tag me, please, so that I can see here, Stevenson Etienne. There we go, I found it. Let me just load up AMD and we'll do that quick analysis. Keep your, drug is still moving, guys. So it's coming down now into about 51.50, but just don't forget that it's moving. Stevenson Etienne, Sharif, AMD is at a gap right now and creating a double bottom on the hour. Let's have a look at the hour chart. Here it is, Ram. So I don't see the double bottom that you're talking about. Maybe these 2 areas, I think. Maybe you're probably talking about, that area trough and this area trough, maybe. What I see, Stevenson, is lower highs and lower lows, and a continual respect for the 10 exponential moving average on the hourly. It's using it as resistance. It might not be using it specifically, but you see what I'm saying, in that each candle is sequentially lower and lower and lower than its predecessor. So I personally don't like it right now as a long. Perhaps you have a different play. If you're going to take something into, if you're going to take AMD long, I'd be wetting my beak at around 154. 154 is generally the closing print from yesterday, as well as you have a 4-candle hourly holdup here, not from yesterday, but from Monday at 154, where it used it as support. So we know support flips to resistance at times. So keep your eye out on that. If you're going to take it long, I'd be wetting my beak out in and around that general area of 154 Satan.
Awesome. So I am looking to possibly add to my position on VRT as of right now. Got in initially at 108.50s. Oh, why is this showing me the McDonald's? Yeah, 108.50s. We're at 108.90s as of right now, but I'm still convicted in this short. Okay, we're at 109s, and so I think I'm going to add a little bit here. And so still going to add a little bit and still looking for around 107.77 for my take profit target. And so another thing that I was looking at is Amazon. I wish I got in a little bit earlier than this. I was looking at it around 186.10. Usually I don't necessarily like to go for the short like while it's still so low, just because it wasn't earlier in the day. Usually if it's like the break of the day's low, typically I like this around 10:30, 11. I do like it, but I feel like I want to see a little bit of a retracement up, probably around 186, so that, you know, because I do think that we can have a little bit of a green candle there. But 186 is what I'm looking for, might post around there. And then for the continuation for the downside short. So that is what I'm looking at as well. What are you guys looking at? Let's see here. UVXY, let's look at that. Let's see what's going on there. UVXY, okay, interesting. So with this UVXY, we have this wick here around 2770s coming down. We have 4 bearish 5-minute candles here. I'm looking for the break here, if I were you, 2720s, to see if there is a little bit of a bounce there or a little bit of a break. I'd like to call this my triangle break typically, but then again, this also could be a bounce just because this was a key pivotal level. And so why was it a key pivotal level? Because of it was like this local high here around 2720s. So we want to make sure, is it going to hold there or is it going to break? And so I'd really pay attention to what it does there on the 5-minute. But if we could see a 5-minute candle breaking below this 2720, then I would be looking for the short possibly to around this VWAP level. So that is what I'm looking at on UVXY. Someone's saying McDonald's is going. I was also looking at that. Oh, wow. Okay, so I'm glad I wasn't going for the short because it briefly broke through VWAP and then it's just recovering here. And someone was saying, you know, McDonald's turning to like an unhappy meal. And I think the happy meal, the smile is coming back up. And so I would want to see it break above $300. That is just, you know, what I'd want to see for the continuation of the long, because that is a key pivotal level. If we break down from that $300 level, then I'm not liking that too much, but above 300 is what I'm looking at. And then VRT, yikes, that is looking really bad. It's approaching to VWAP, so I think I'm gonna hop out of that VRT, not looking too great there. So I'm just gonna hop out of that for a loss, unfortunately. That is looking really bad, but you know what? It is what it is. We're going to move on to the next trade. And Boeing, I mean, this still looks like it could be a downtrend. It is bouncing a little bit as of right now. But I think I'm not going to get caught up in here. I think I'd rather take it around 156.68 for, you know, give it some more room. And then if I see that VWAP ceiling, then I think I'm going to bang it out and get in there. So that is what I am looking at. What else are we looking at? Someone said AMD in the chat. AMD is breaking up a little bit above VWAP, but like Sharif said, you really want to see it get around 154, probably 153.50. I want to see a hold of that around this day's high here. I would be really convicted if we can get above 153.50 to 154. That's like kind of the scalp that I would take personally, but I want to see it get up there. I don't want to get chopped up in this AMD kind of move here, but that is looking pretty decent. Starbucks bouncing off of VWAP again. Doesn't look like, you know, it's slowing down. It doesn't look like a short to me, to be honest. I think bounce off of VWAP and then a trek to 100 is very reasonable. Someone's saying Apple bottom at 229.34.
Jeans, boots with the fur. Get it, Adara.
229.34. Let's see here. She's dancing. Yeah, that's a banger song. 229.34. Is that a bottom? I mean, I feel like it needs to break above 231 for us to confirm whether or not that's a bottom. 231, but really the right side of the V action that I'm looking at is 232, just because it gets out of kind of this downtrend. Like we had this one big candle off of VWAP 233.67. But I think that the break that we really need to pay attention to is this 231.90, 232 level in order for a confirmation there, just because you want to see more of like this action going up from there rather than like a possible bounce rejection from there. And so it's still on a downtrend. Wouldn't necessarily say that is a bounce yet, just because there's only, 3 bullish candles above that to that bottom there at 229.30. And so I don't necessarily think that that is enough confirmation for you to signify it as a bottom there. But what are you looking at, Sharif?
I'm looking at a bunch of stuff right now. Let me just go over some of the stuff that we were executing on before while you were dropping hot lines, Ram. I got out nice little winner here, about 25 pennies here on UAVS. Got in at 15s, wet my beak there at 42s. It's zigging and zagging, but it seems to have found a bit of a base right now, and it is putting incrementally higher wicks, higher low wicks on the 5-minute. It really seems to be shadowing the 20 exponential. I'm not entirely certain about that, but that's how it seems to me right now. UAVS. Now I've got my beak wetter, the next one that is, at a lofty target. We're gonna sit here at 369. Because what's life without whimsy? We wet our beak, like I said, at 41s, and here it comes again into 40s. It needs to break and take the half, which we know for a fact acted as local resistance over here. Does it act again? It's at 40s right now, where I printed last time, rejecting at 40s, seller of note at 40s. Let's see, he got taken out. Here we go. Can we move up a little bit more? That's not enough. We got to cross, right? So now we're printing 42s, 43s. Let's see if this one can ascend into that 60, 70 penny area. UAVS, it is up over 100% at the moment, 102% and change, having trouble with 40s, and I won't be convinced otherwise. The other one we're still in CGC. I have a feeling this is gonna flat bottom break. I could get out of it right now, break even. It's printing 11s, 10s on the bid. I don't know, I don't have my stop. No, I'm showing the chart. I don't have my stop that far below where I'm entered, so I'm gonna give it to about 508, all good there. The other one that I'm in right now, what's this one called? There it is. Oh, we got the print on save, baby. So we get that top break on save. Now we're knocking the door of 96s. So we took that VWAP hold on SAVA being rewarded right now. I am still very much of the opinion that there is a seller of note at 98. Just take a gander at what we did over here. Come on, bro. Let me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 1-minute candle holdups all at 98. I know it's the 1-minute chart, but that basically means to me that if I was looking at the book at 98, it wouldn't have printed anything higher than that. It just all that's left to be determined is the seller at 98 an iceberg, or is it posting? So that's a look there. Keeping my eye out on this one. Let's go back right now to UAVS, because this is the big boy right now, Ram. We want to take this one up into 70s or 69s. It keeps moving up into the mid-40s and then met with aggressive selling. This is what it looks like on the 5-minute chart right now. So you can see that it's been putting in those higher lows, and this is what I meant when I said it looks like it's shadowing off the 20. There's your proof number 1, 2, 3, 4, and this one not so much into 5, but at the same time, even though we are putting in those incrementally higher lows, we are putting in lower highs. Take a look at this candle at 1220. The high of this candle, 356. The high of the subsequent candle, 355.5. How about this one? This is an air trough, 350. How about this one? 344. So it keeps going down. So that's my concern right now, is that the seller is incrementally pushing this one into lower highs, lower highs, lower highs. Do we get that bottom break, kind of, so to speak? So that's the same issue that I'm having with CGC. And you zoom in here on CGC, incrementally lower highs coming into that 510. So we'll pack our patience. I don't think with CGC, because I have my stop placed so close, based on the area of support and resistance, I can give this one room. So that's what I'm looking at right now. I'm also looking at the fact that SGMO, the one that we had that top break on, is now finding its footing at the 20 exponential. It held up there originally, and now it's doing a 4-candle hold up, all respecting closing print, not wick, respecting the 20 exponential. If this one wants to curl, I'll get it on the back end, as my friend Neil likes to say, and boom, look at that move up through that 65. Now we're knocking the door of 70s. So good hold up there by SGMO. What is this one up? on the day, 39.25%. So not the biggest mover or anything like that, but respectful of these moving averages. So that's what I'm looking at right now, hoping that these bad boys can continue going. I haven't even looked at the Mag 7. I haven't even looked at the future. Let's have a look over here. Everything seems to be in negatory land. Apple below 230 right now, on the way down to 229, down 2 1/3. You got the Amazonian bleeding as well, down 2%. Amazonian has been very respectful of take your pick here, the 10 or the 20. The shallow retracements come into the 10, as you can see, like over here, and over here. The deeper retracements, north that is, come into the 20 exponential and then head right back down. So Amazon bleeding on the day. So is the Zuck train. The Zuck train can't even make it into the 20 exponential. Aggressive selling right now on the Mag 7 names. Low day on META, 568.25. So it's a bunch of selling. And the soft one, which was awfully strong, as you can see yesterday over here, big boy moves into softy, faring the best, even though it's negative, marginally negative, 0.07%. But yeah, I guess it kind of found support at the IB low there, but I have no trades on these. Goggles as well, coming into the 20, the Fuge at the 10, and the Monster NVIDIA south of 140 right now. And even the Cybertruck, you know, take your pick. They've all been 10 or 20 exponential retracement rejections on the Mag 7. And there goes Apple, new low of day on the dead one, coming into 229. This one can't even make its way back into the 10 exponential. So you're having to guess here where to take the shorts. I'm not going to be jumping into that. But yeah, lots of bleeding right now on the Mag 7. Nobody being spared. The best of the lot, though, is MSFT, as it's barely negative on the day. Everything else, though, bleeding. NVIDIA, the worst off, I believe, 3% or thereabouts. Apple second, 2.88. It's going to be about which one does worse. Back to UAVS. Okay, we knocked on the door of 50. We haven't been at 50 in a hot minute here. I'm waiting at 69. I'm not selling. I'd rather get stopped out than take out or than lower my profit target. I'm keeping my eye on this bad boy. It's the best, I would say, the best mover in terms of small cap gappers on the day. Let me tell you again, UAVS is an Amex stock, and it is highly volatile for two reasons. One, the float is 267,000 shares. That means in the entire world, there's only circulating right now 267,000 shares, some of which may be owned. So we don't actually know how much is out there being held by market makers to facilitate trading. That's number one. Number two, the short float RAM is 24.2%. That is big. That basically means that of that 267,000 shares, 25 or a little bit less than that percent of that amount is being borrowed by traders for short positions. So what does that mean to you? That means if we ascend in the price, we may trigger their stops. Now, if we trigger their stops, how do they get out? Well, it's the same way that you get out when you go long something. You sell. When you're short, you got to buy. So then you have multiple people buying, the people who are actually buying the stock and the people who are covering their short positions. That's what we call a short squeeze, and you get double the buying or whatever, some sort of multiple of the buying. So that's why I want to explain that for the newer traders, and that's why we kind of look at these names with high floats, with high short floats, so that we can kind of gauge whether or not they'll be volatile and get parabolic sate.
Awesome. So I was looking at BSX, just jumped out of that as of right now. I liked it because it's approaching this day's high, and so I really like the break of those usually. But then it's curling a little bit down. I wanted to see a strong 3-minute candle breaking above this high. We might see a little bit of a pullback if it does break below 85.65. Don't really like that as of right now. My profit target was 86.15, but it could be a rejection from here. But I want to see what it does here. What gave me conviction in this trade was just this trend. Like, this was a strong trend since 11.15, and so it's just going to the upside, going up. And what I really like about this is the fact that the earnings was today as well, and so this gives me more confidence in terms of volume. But I want to see a hold of this 85.62. There might be a little bit of a retracement there. I was a little bit heavy there, so that's why I kind of jumped out. But I still think that 86.15 isn't too crazy of a profit target there. So I really like that. BSX looking nice. And then I was also looking at PAAS. Looking at this, I would like the fact that it's holding above VWAP, held above VWAP since around 1140. But if it breaks below VWAP, don't think I will like it. But if it can stay above and get above this 25.45, I think I will initiate along there. So looking at that. And then I was also looking at SAVE. And usually I don't really like small caps, or just, cheaper stocks. But I do like this, like the fact that it's holding above VWAP. And the risk isn't too crazy. I was thinking about risking around 275, around 275. I mean, you could give it more room around 254. I think that is a little bit too much room for me, but I think 275 is very reasonable. And I think that if we can break around this $3 mark, I think I'm going to get in for, that long. And so I'm going to put in my order here on SAVE. So I'm going to put that, going to post here at 3s. Going to probably give it around a 3-penny spread, 3 to 303, and then I will get in there. So I'm posting there for that save. Hopefully we get filled there, and we'll just wait on that. What else are you guys looking at? Walmart looking strong in this market. Let's look at Walmart. What is Walmart doing? Oh, wow, Walmart is really strong. I really like the fact that it's breaking through this high. Really like that. Shout out to you. This is actually like a really good play that I like. I like the break of the day's high. Really like that as well. I mean, where am I going to risk? I think a good risk level to be decent is around 82.70, giving it around, 20, 30 pennies. I believe if it breaks down there, then I'm a little bit wrong. But I really like that. So I think I'm going to jump in that at 83. So I'm going to post on Walmart as well at 83. Going to put that in real quick. 83, 83, 83. And then I will give it a 3-penny spread as well. 83.03, going to get in there. And then hopefully we get filled there. So that is what I'm looking at. That looks really nice. Look at Tesla, please. Let's look at Tesla. Let's see what the beast is doing. Tesla. Okay, Tesla. Okay, so this is exactly what I was looking for, actually. So I drew this trend line here, and I was like, okay, you could get in on the way down, but I wanted it to retrace up to this trend line, and that's exactly what it did. Retrace up to that trend line, and then it's going down as of right now. It still stands. $200 is my profit target for Tesla. Not necessarily today, but if you are a swing trader, I definitely think that is very reasonable for the short. I mean, there's nothing else to say there. Tesla, it's looking bad as of right now. Maybe the earnings might give us a little bit of a bounce, after the bell. But a profit target that I'm looking at on Tesla is around 213.64, the bus stop level from Monday, and then another bus stop level from last Friday, October 11th. So that is what I'm looking at. Covered Walmart, it's selling off. Let's look at Walmart. Going back to Walmart.
I'm going.
Yeah, see, did it fill me? No, it didn't fill me. That's why I want it to get to 83. I feel like I want to see it. That's why I didn't get in prematurely, because if it doesn't reach that 83, then it could definitely fake you out and go to the downside. But I do want to see the break of that 83 for today. So that is that for Tesla. And then looking back at Apple seems like it's trying to bounce a little bit, but we still are on this downtrend here, and we're going to Adara.
Time to take a look here at crypto this afternoon. Also worth noting, guys, in 40 seconds, we're going to be getting the 20-year bond auction coming through at 1 p.m. Eastern. So previous print here, 4.039% from what I'm seeing. Once I get that number, I will let you guys know here in the chat or live if we get it while we're still here. But let's take a look right now at Bitcoin. We know Bitcoin actually as of right now is broken below the key $66,000 support. We talk a lot about the daily charts. What I wanted to do was take a look at the weekly chart. Is there any potential support or resistance we could find here? And if we're looking at this uptrend starting with that base of around 54,000, we know we have the double bottom at 54,000 on the daily chart. for BTC. We do have the 62,000 be the next higher low. So if we stay above 60 or 62,500, I guess here, 62,500 could be then the next level for BTC. But it's interesting. We could potentially find support here just below 66,000 at this previous prop, going back to November 2021, before a pretty aggressive sell-off in BTC that began this rounded bottom or this cup and handle pattern. So keep an eye here on the level we're currently trading at. Could form a support if you look at the weekly. Next bus stop there, to use a term from Satea, could be 62,500. What about Ethereum, though? Because Ethereum's also really weak today. We don't talk about this one as much. Actually, interesting here on this daily chart, looks like we're trying to form a little bit of a rounded bottom with these higher lows. So even with this 3-day sell-off, as of right now, pushing well below 2,500, we still do have higher lows here in Ethereum, so higher highs as well. We'll have to see how this unfolds, but that 2,600 was a level we stopped at for quite a bit, and actually where we opened today before selling off for Ethereum. So that is my quick crypto take here. If you guys have any crypto stocks you're looking at, or any stocks you're looking at all, you only have 50 minutes left to vote for the ticker of your choice. Get in that chat, !join, space, $, and your ticker. I am not seeing anything with regards to the bond auction as of yet, but I will let you guys know once I see.
Appreciate that, Adara. I just wanted to chime in a little bit there because I was talking to Brendo about this this morning. And I don't know if you've noticed, but the 10-year yield, like something we cover often at the big desk, the 10-year has been in a full state of pamp. It's, currently right now, today it's at 4.223. Let me just show you quickly here what the situation is on the 10-year. If I can click that, does it go to it? Yes, nice. So I'll show you the daily, just so that we can kind of have a discussion about this, because there's a reason why the 10-year is doing what it's doing. Let me zoom out a little bit more because we should be able to get some of the data. Apparently, the 10-year yield, that is, has been spiking because some of the betting markets are starting to price in a Republican sweep in the States. And so if that's the case, then they're increasing they're increasing the yield. And here's the situation. The market doesn't like, generally, when one party holds all the power. Like in this side of the border, we usually have majority governments most of the time. Yeah. So that's kind of normally priced in, right? Usually minorities are the exception, majorities are the rule most of the time. Right. In the States, that's not the case. The House is always one way, the Senate is another, the president is another. And so if they get a clean sweep, the market doesn't like that because you can pass your agenda through and sometimes it's not good for the market. But when you have that like stalemate almost, because one party controls one house and one party controls the other, and there's another with the president, then the market likes that because you can't get too much done, so it can kind of make that predictable certainty that nothing really gets done. It's kind of crazy to think that way, but that's really what it is. Okay. So I was reading an article today about the 10-year spiking because of that. Now, I'm not taking a position either way, but I'm just thought to let everybody know that the reason that the yields are spiking, despite the fact that we have these rate cuts on the horizon, is quite interesting. Anyways, just wanted to wax esoteric about that for a hot second.
Yeah, thank you for that knowledge. I did not know that. I don't know too much about like the structure of like the U.S. government or anything like that, but I'm always down to learn, so thank you for that, for sure.
Always. So here's the situation right now, guys. I'm still holding this UAVS position. Oh, sorry, I forgot about that Katina Man. The Katina Man short at 152.63 on AMD. We just had the AMD chart. Let's look at it right now. And he was telling me, look, man, I wish I was short NVIDIA because apparently NVIDIA is dropping, but so is AMD, dude. Ooh. And I don't know if you see this, Katina Man. I'm sure you did, but it's a symphony of lower highs up on that. He's here, baby. So shout out to the Katina Man who's printing on that. That's a good look there, Katina Man, because it's been a weak day on these markets. It is now the #1 Katina Man stock on the day, and it's headed down into 152, Katina Man. It's about to break that whole dollar level. I see a possible support over here at 151.90, but that's way too close to 152 for them to be different levels. So AMD on the way down. The closing print, in case you're wondering, yesterday on AMD was 154. So we're going to keep tabs on that. I'm still involved in this UAVS trade. Sometimes it pops up above 40, sometimes it doesn't. I'm packing my patience with this one. I'm waiting for the print at 69s. I'm not moving my stop on my beak water down. Here we go, 50s again. Last time we got into 50s, we rejected. Look how the tape starts moving all crazy once we approach that level of resistance. Well, why? People are taking profits, right? You know that that 50 penny level is resistance. So I start taking some profits. The shorts, they see it come right and back into the area, so they get more short. So you got a whole bunch of chop and churn, a tug of war between buyers and sellers. And you can see that right now on the tape, a little bit in the high 40s, a little bit in the low 40s. Look at that. It's just my case in point right there. So we're going to keep our eye on this one. I've got my stop exactly where I want it. I do like the higher low situation, and I do like the hold up at the 20. I don't like the range being at 50 because I'm placing my stop in the lofty area there. So that's what I'm looking at right now. Nothing else really jiving. Oh, the Perma Bear has come back into the chat. What a beautiful day. Let Joe know that strategy working, big style. Bring the blood. I will absolutely let him know. You can let him know yourself, Big Spal. He'll be in tomorrow, and he's going to be doing that Iron Condor lesson. So anybody interested in that lesson, make sure to join us tomorrow on How to Trade. Joe will be doing that. And Satya is going to be dropping the lesson on Friday. Do we know what the topic is?
Yes.
Not yet.
It's a surprise.
It's a surprise.
It's a surprise. You got to tune in. Come in, hit those likes, and we got a big lesson coming on Friday. Let's go. So I am in, I was in BSX. And so what I really liked about this was my my day's high break. And so I really like that. Gonna show you my chart here. BSX and Y. So I did a little bit of a scalp here. I got in around 85.74. Got out a little bit around 85.85, and then again at 86.12. Really like that. I mean, I still think there is a continuation for this trade. Really like that as well. I just took it just because I'm a little bit of a scalper, but I still think that there is a strong trend to the upside here. Why we had this strong bounce at around 11. Break above VWAP, really like that. Break above the day's high, really like that. We have the earnings as our kind of confluence for more volume there. And so what I'm looking at is around 86.50. That is kind of my bus stop level, just because it's around, you know, a $0.50 level. And then again at 87. So really liking that for BSX, looking really great there. And then Walmart, I'm kind of glad that I posted where I did. Glad I didn't jump in too early because I wanted it to break 83 for more confirmation. And even for pennies, it made sure that I didn't, you know, lose on that trade. And so I made sure to post up there, didn't get filled. I think I'm definitely going to cancel that just because I wanted to see it break right at that level. Didn't really like that, so we're gonna cancel those. Not really liking that Walmart, not looking too great there. And then VRT, I am in this. I am still convicted, but I don't know. Like, I feel like I've been fighting with this stock as of right now. I got in at 108.66. I think I'm going to give it to around 109.89. I think that is like a point where I really am wrong, and I really should just stop trading this thing. But I'm liking that for the short, whiffling and waffling, but I do want to see it break above 108.90 to really confirm that I'm wrong, and then I will just make sure that I'll cut that trade and won't attempt it again. But I do like the fact that it is below VWAP, so really like that. And BSX, it is still blasting off as of right now. Wish I stayed in that trade, but it is, you know, it's holding. It's doing some great news there. And so really like that. How about you, Sharif? What are you looking at?
No, just keeping an eye out on the names that I'm in right now. Save, still stuck south of 3, works its way up into 296. Where are we long? I think, well, the advertisement's there. Can't see. So we'll keep an eye out on that one. Still involved in UAVS, keeps finding support at 20, but resistance at 50. I mean, a better trader would add at 20s. Maybe I'll do that, and then I'll probably get stopped out. What is going on? CGC, we got stopped out a long time ago for a 2-penny loser there, in at 508, and then out, no, 3-penny loser at 505. It broke down. It had a good range, and then it didn't. So CGC gone Zeno now. Now what I'm keeping my eye out is the Mag 7. because I feel like the small cap gappers are just kind of not giving me anything to work with over here. 1 2/3 in negative land right now as we give up about, dude, are you serious? We're 300 points. Yeah, 300 points off the top. All right, no big deal. Shut the lights off. No problem there. Yeah, shut the lights off, baby. 20,200 is the level that we're looking at there for the NQ. We're about 4 points above that right now, the low of day. Print in 12s, but there's a whole lot of bleeding in all the Mag 7. Who's the worst off right now? It's NVIDIA. 3 1/4. The dead one, Apple, I think, is a second in command there. It's kind of going back and forth between it and Amazon. No, it looks like Apple worse off than Amazon right now. And Meta, all competing for that. It's just punch short anywhere, man, on these futures or any of these Mag 7s, it feels like, and get printed to the downside. Kyle Burdett, Bears versus Bulls on the road. Hard to tag. Get down. What do you want from me, dude? Why are you tagging me there? Oh, you're tagging me because you want me to say get down. Katina, man, you have those, that red arrow that goes down or whatever? You just did it? Oh, there you go. There you go, Big Spile. We got you covered. We got you covered over here. So that's the look. I mean, I'm not really doing much. Still waiting on UAVS. Still waiting on Save. CGC I'm out of, by the way. I don't know why it hasn't updated that on the position board, but that's okay. We'll keep tabs on that. So, yeah, what are you looking at, Satea?
So right now I just jumped into a Walmart short. I was looking at this level at 82, 84. So looking for a little bit of a breakdown there. My target level is probably going to be around 82.77, just a little bit of a scalp there. Definitely don't want to see too much of a bounce there. But on the 3-minute candle, you know, we have 2 bearish 3-minute candles. So that is what I'm looking at. So I'm going to put my stop loss at 82.85. I'm not going to give it too much room, to be honest. I'm going to give it about 5 pennies, and that is the extent of what I'm going to do. So I'm just going to put that in really quickly. And why? But my stop loss, let's, you know, actually, let me give it a little bit more room. Let's do 86s and 87, and then I'm going to do that there. Oh, did it punch me out? Okay. Oh, no, it's still in. Okay, so I'm still in it. AMD, Sean's talking about AMD.
Oh, yeah.
What is AMD doing?
Bleeding.
Ooh, oh, damn.
Uh-oh.
Yes, that is moving as of right now. Definitely on the breakdown. Bust stop level 151.19. That is what I'm looking at there. That is looking really good. Is NVIDIA kind of doing the same thing? Because someone says, oh, man, yeah, NVIDIA is approaching that day's low. That looks very juicy to me. I think I'm going to hop in that as well. I think I want to see 138.39, I think I'm going to jump in there. So I'm going to do that on NVIDIA as well. I'm going to do that. And Q. 138.39. Going to give it about 5 pennies there. And then hopefully we get filled there. But I definitely think that that can get there. Don't skip over me, NVIDIA. Don't skip over me. But I think that we can get that fill. But hopefully we do get filled. And so that is what I'm looking at. NVIDIA looking like poop. Not looking great. And then someone saying short what? What else are we looking at? Someone saying MU is doing a Sean dive. Sean dive, let's look at that. Yeah, all the chips are kind of just like breaking downtown, and they're going. They're going. But what are you looking at, Sharif?
Guys, I'm not in CGC. Ram. I don't know why the position board is acting up, but it still has me long in CGC. We got out long time ago over here, so I'm not sure what the sitch is over there on your side there. Thank you. I appreciate that, Ram. She's gonna rescue me. All right, keeping an eye here on Boeing because it did some bamboozlement there at VWAP, guys. This is one we had a trade on earlier today. Look at what it did. It reascended into VWAP, and the reason we got short initially is because it did that VWAP hole, 4-candle hold on the 5-minute chart. It did a bit of a longer hold this time, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, but this was the bamboozler in chief. Look at that. It breaches everything. It's an inverse hammer candle. You can make an argument for a topping tail, really, getting right into that 157 and then dropping quick as you like into 156. Wowzers. Now, here's the situation. We're still putting in the higher low thing on Boeing. So maybe traders were looking for a flat top break. Well, that would make sense on a day where, you know, they reported a little bit of a better look for their company. Right now, though, it's trying to hold up at 156. And having a look at this, it used 156 as a resistance level for this 4-minute candle here. 4-minute candle, 4 candle hold up on the 5. I'll get it right, guys. So possibly something to be had here on Boeing at 156, maybe a scalp or a scalp play. Where's my Boeing? There it is. All right, so let's keep an eye out on this one. Perhaps we could get something into the long side here at 156 and give it a bit of room. That's exactly what I'm doing. So we're going to go and do that right there, come what may, and then we're going to basically look to get out of everything if it doesn't work out. So that's the look there. All right, we're pumping up nicely over here. Here we go. Where are we long on Boeing? There we go. Good. And so, all right, just fat fingered there. It's all good.
Oy.
Yeah, I'll look to reset there. So I just took out everything accidentally rather than setting a stop. That's all good. I still like the area though, so I'm going to add whatever. Come what may. Let's do this. So we're adding again here into Boeing. Let's see if this one wants to pop up a little bit more, possibly into that 156.60 area. We'll see if it wants to work its way up there. Save coming back down again. Now there's a seller of note here at 96. Now, this is the thing that we talk about sometimes, these compression patterns where the seller moves down incrementally. Look at all the candles that we rejected there at 98, and now we're kind of doing the same thing at 96. So even though we're putting in higher lows in the technical sense, when you look at each area trough, we are also putting in lower crests, so lower highs. So we'll keep tabs on that one right now. All right, let's see if Boeing wants to pump up here. What's my price on Boeing? Boeing, we're long at 34s. We're printing 50s. I'm waiting at 60s, so it's going to have to break VWAP by definition for me to get printed. And we just got printed there at 60s. Nice trade.
Let's
now
go.
37s over here with the DCA, obviously, having fat fingered into that level.
God.
Katina, man, I'm annoyed, but that's okay there. I've got to send it to you because I got to set up for the ad read.
Yeah, for sure. So I took that NVIDIA short, banged that out. Where is that bang?
Oh, I got it.
Yo, yes, yes. So that, I think that was like one of the best trades that I had today, was taking some L's. I'm going to show you guys here. So I got in at 138.40. Like I was telling you guys, quick scalp. I'm a scalper, okay? Got in, got out that same candle, got out around 137.84 for a really nice profit, really nice there. It looks like it's trying to bounce, but I don't know. I'm not convinced, to be honest. I definitely think that there is still more breakdown to be had on this NVIDIA. Wouldn't necessarily jump in there. I feel like I really got in at a good price at 138.40. I feel like a little bit of a retracement up. Let's look. Yeah, I mean, if you want to post, I'd say 137.73 so it can catch you on the way down is better than kind of punching it in this middle, because, you know, you don't want it to bounce from here and then just continue up and you're still waiting for that breakdown. It's better for you to just post, and then on the way down, it gets you filled there. So really nice there, really good look on that on NVIDIA. Really like that. And then let's look at Walmart, because I'm also in that as well. So looking at Walmart, I'm looking for this breakdown at 82.80. It's kind of just stalling there, which I don't really like. I really like that fast action. I want it to happen fast, but you know, Walmart is really not a volatile stock like that. But I definitely think slowly but surely it is trickling down. It's trickling down from around 82.95, and we do have these candles coming to the downside. My profit target is around 82.73, so I am looking to take profits there. So, I mean, it's at 78s right now. Yeah, I still think 82.73. I think that is very reasonable, so I am going to put my take profit there.
All right, got to pay some bills.
Pay some bills.
All right, big news from Trader TV and Trade the Pool. Trade the Pool is giving away 7 limited edition $20,000 buying power evaluation accounts to help traders just like you take the next step in your trading journey. At Trade the Pool, you first complete an evaluation by hitting profit targets. Once you pass, you get access to up to $260,000 in buying power. The giveaway dates are as follows. Mark these on your calendars. October 21st to October 25th. So we're already deep into this. Winners will be revealed on October 29th. This is your chance to start trading with a funded account. So don't miss out. The link is in the description, or you can scan that QR code on the bottom right hand of your screen. Everyone can get funded. Let's stock and roll, baby. Shout out to the Catman there and his buddy Mitch, who were on yesterday. And Satya, I'm happy with this trade here. This was a bigger position for me on BA. We got printed at 75s. Boeing broke VWAP. It's putting a symphony of higher lows in on the way to 157. But let's not celebrate too quickly, because last time we weaseled into 157, we had an inverse hammer candle rejecting essentially 2 pennies from the whole dollar, 156.98, and then we dropped quick as you like to 155.98. Jeez Louise. But here we go again, zigging and zagging, knocking on the door of that 157, and we've been putting in higher lows. So, hey, trends speak for themselves, man. Let's keep an eye out on this one. UAVS, the bamboozler in chief. It looks like it pushed me out of the last little bit there of my position, or so I believe it did. Let's have a look over here. Where is my UAVS? Yeah, we got stopped out at $3 and zigging and zagging now. So this one did its thing, 25 for a hot minute at 350. It couldn't take 350, but look at the bamboozlement. It dips into 270. Now it's above 3 already. This is a big boy hammer candle right now, forming on the 5-minute chart. Yeah, essentially a 275 low, and now we're at 313. So lots and lots of volatility. I'll stop saying bamboozlement. Lots of volatility on UAVS. We'll keep tabs on this one. CGC finding a bottom. Don't know why. Oh, I do know why. This is basically the area low on the day for CGC right now. What the hell? Is that green? Oh, it is a green towel. That's pretty cool, Ram. Oh, I mean, that's...
What a magic trick.
Oh, boy. Good times. So CGC has daily support in and around this area, 482, 480. So it looks like as if it found its footing right now. It is still negative on the day. 498 is the close. VWAP at 503. So we'll keep tabs on CGC, see if this one wants to break out. Let's have a look at Save. Save's moving up, finally. Over here, it's on its way to 3, or so I believe. There we go. Save, oh, it just popped up into 3, and then quick as you like, down again. So I'm going to pack my patience. I've been waiting for a 3 break and take right now on Save, so we'll pack our... Adara, I am bamboozled by the lack of bamboozlement.
I pity the fool that doesn't hit the like and subscribe button.
Hit the like, hit the subscribe. You're still printing on AMD? Is that a yes? Is that a yes? I need a verbal answer, Katina, man. He's printed. He's happy. He's in a good mood. We're happy for him.
Here's the short. Build. Bang.
Bang! Attaboy, Katina, man. Good trade there, brother. Keep it up. Katina, man, killing it on that side of the desk. In case you don't know, our More Trader TV not up today, so tag me or Satya, and we'll let you know what Neil and Sean are trading at any time. Be happy to help there. Let's have a look at Save Ram because it's right back at that $3 area again, and I'm debating with myself whether to take profits over here. Last time it rejected at 298. Now it's taking it out. So about how many different resistance levels are we going to have? 298 and 3. And there is quite a bit of size here at 299 as well. So good move up here for Save off the volume weighted average price. Now we're printing 3. Good move here for Save, up 42% on the back of this Frontier deal. Good look. Let's see if we can take it out. I'm going to wait on the north side of 3, Satya.
Awesome. So I was trying to get in for the continuation of the short on NVIDIA. It is fighting a little bit here at this level. I was getting in, what did I get in? 89s. And so we're at 138. And so it's just, see, like it's within this range here. And so if we break out of that range, I think I'm going to jump out just because I think that there may be a little bit of a pop there. But we're going to Adara. She has some news for us.
Worth noting here is we have the S&P 500 pushing into new lows. I am unsure if this is the reason, but it is worth noting we do have this story coming from the New York Post with regards to officials apparently potentially here in, there are rumors of North Korean troops in Russia. According to this New York Post report, there is a U.S. official saying that the U.S. has, at least according to the U.S. assessing that, at least 3,000 troops from North Korea were moved into eastern Russia, basically saying these troops were transported by ship and to multiple military training sites. So basically, again, potential, at least according to this New York Post report, U.S. officials saying that there was likely that at least 3,000 troops from North Korea were sent to Russia. More war news, basically, as we have the S&P 500 continuing to move lower.
More belligerencies. You were saying?
Yes, so I am fighting with this NVIDIA. It's within this range here around 138.25 and 137.68. If I see a break above this 138.20, I think I'm going to get out. But I don't know. I still feel like there is a little bit of some bleed there. But, okay, we're catching up some steam. I think I'm going to jump out. Don't like that. No, no, no. Okay, so we're going to pop out. And then GoRav said, looking at NVIDIA on weekly level, it is now starting to look like a failed breakout. Of course, the candle hasn't closed. There's still an uptrend line from the 4-hour, which needs to hold. Okay, I want to see what you're looking at. Let's look. Let's go on the 4-hour here. Okay, yeah, I could see the uptrend that you are talking about here. I see that here. Yeah, I think this is definitely a pivotal level as of right now, but you're right, there may be a little bit of a bounce there. So I don't think I want to fight with it as of right now, to be honest. I think I feel like I should be happy with when I got in at 138.40 and not fight this trend. I find this is a lot of the time when I start losing. When I start trying to short, on the pop down rather than, posting. And so, yeah, glad that I got out of there. So not looking too great, but, well, we're going to move on to something else. So what else are you guys looking at? Someone said, woot woot, that is not a stock. SPY options, SPY, let's look at SPY. Okay, SPY. Yeah, it feels like it's doing like the same type of action as like Apple and Meta, and this is on the breakdown as well. I do like this for the short, but then again, this isn't really in my playbook to get in as of right now, because I find when I start getting in at these levels, that's when it starts to bounce. And I don't feel like I have a definitive out there. I feel like I need to look for something fresh that is closer to VWAP, either at VWAP breaking down or at VWAP on the way up there. So do you guys have any ideas? Let me know. Is there any tickers breaking above the day's high or pre-market high or breaking below VWAP? Let me know. I am very interested in that. But how about you? What are you looking at?
I'm seeing a bit of a reversion trade possibly on the horizon here. Especially if we take out that 20,002, I'm going to give this one the old community college try and come what may from this. So we're going long on the dead one here to see or not whether we can weasel and extract some profits from this monster. I don't know. I see a bit of a curl up, a breach of the 10 on a closing basis, possibly weaseling in to about 230.50. Not going to give it much in the way of room. It's going to have to hold up at the levels that I like. So we're going to give this one till here, and then we're going to do that. And that's basically the look there. So AAPL, I know it's got bad news, but there could be a mean reversion trade to be had here. We'll give this one a quick try. Boeing, though, is really on one right here. I mean, we got out at 156.80, and this one went to 157.80. And I thought I had a good trade on my hands with this one. Looks like I didn't. Let's have a look at the chart on BA right now, because a bit of a topping tail candle possibly right now on Boeing. Here's the look. So I was not, oh, that's why. Okay, so I saw that on my chart. I was actually expecting resistance here. So at 158 to 157, let's just say 75 to 2/3. And that's where it topping tailed. So this is interesting, guys. Now, if we reject this one with possibly an inverse hammer candle that closes big boy red, or we get a new 5-minute candle to make a new low, this will be an interesting area. Now, obviously, I didn't get the best price for the short, and the reason I'm basing or even looking at a short here is to take account of this area consolidation low that we whiffled and waffled at, essentially from 10 a.m. to when the bottom dropped off at 10:45 at that level. So 158 to 157 and 2/3 generally. Look at this. It now closed as an inverse hammer candle. Now let's keep an eye out on the subsequent candle to see if it wants to make another low. We do have money talks with Adair at the big desk.
Before Money Talks, I actually have a story on Apple for you, Sharif. We have CNBC just reporting now that Apple's apparently released a new preview of its AI, which includes its ChatGPT integration. Apple not doing much, but keep an eye on this one, and MSFT, which of course has backed ChatGPT with that in mind. Apparently this preview is included with iOS 18.2 and includes new ability to describe what the user wants the AI or Apple Intelligence to rewrite text. There's new Genmoji. So this is Apple's image generator for new emojis. There's also Image Playground, which is their AI image generator, Image Wand, which can help you edit photos with AI. And then there's also, of course, the OpenAI ChatGPT integration. So this AI preview, not moving Apple too much here, but keep an eye on this one after that CNBC report. Now, in terms of money talks, we're not going to look at the DXY right now. Hasn't been too much today, but it's worth noting we did have that lower than expected here. Existing home sales is actually apparently a 14-year low for that statistic. So existing home sales, 3.84 million here for the month of September. That's their lowest since October 2010. And that's, of course, for September 2024, down about 1%. We also had revisions for the August number as well. Now, in terms of other things to keep an eye on here with this economy, it's interesting. We actually had the IMF here saying yesterday that they believe the global fight against inflation is, quote, almost won. That is basically, this opinion has to do with the fact that a lot of these central banks, including, of course, the U.S., have been lowering their rates. We also had Canada lowering its rates by 50 basis points as expected this morning. So from 4.25% to 3.75% as of 9:45 a.m. Eastern. So lots of rates on the horizon. We actually have, in just a few weeks here, the next FOMC meeting. It'll be November 7th is when we're getting this decision. So unheard of, but it will be on a Thursday. We'll have to see what happens then. And for now, we are going to go over to that desk. But keep an eye here on the U.S. dollar and make sure you vote for your ticker of choice. You have 17 minutes left to do so. Exclamation point join, space, $sign, and your ticker.
That's the one right there. Thank you, Adair, for always reminding us. Here it is. Exclamation point, the word join, space, and that $sign. Don't forget that space, though. Let's see what everybody's talking about in the chat and whether or not they voted for it. Mashworth, all right. You're talking about NVIDIA being wrinkled up. Vote for it, my man. Max is talking about NVIDIA's CEO as well, saying that the Blackwell chip being fixed up. Vote for it. Jorge, he wants me to look at Apple. Now we have 2 longs on Apple. Yeah, I just got stopped out of mine. Looks like the idea here was a short the pop type of situation. Let's see what else people are talking about. Sean, Enphase. Wow, that got shellacked today, didn't it, my man? Enphase. Man, these advertisements are so annoying. I can never see my positions. So annoying. All right, let's see if we can get there. What else we got? NVIDIA Curl, says Sean Dunn. Italian honeycomb, like that name, honeybee. I mean, Tesla tanking. Yes, you were absolutely right. The Cybertruck is on the way down. Let's see if it continues to print. I'm printing here on AAPL. Just took that short. White Bianking, Playboy, vote for Playboy. Reality Righteous TV. He wants to know about Kroger. What's Kroger doing? Vote for it. Hertz Scrambler, I love that name. He always talks to me in the chat. UVXY, vote for UVXY. Ina wants to talk about INTC, Intel. Well, Neil's not here right now, but he will be back, and he will be able to talk about Intel because it's his show. He's going to be able to chat about that. So get into the chat and vote for INTC. Isaac Williams did his part. He voted for SYTA. Is that Satea? Is that for you? Is there actually a ticker SYTA? It's Siana. Okay, I thought it was like a joke because Satea's here because it's so close to her name. So shout out to that person. Who else has been voting or chiming in about different tickers? Let's see who else talked about it. Let's moving up here in the chat. Not seeing any tickers. Yeah, Isaac Williams still talking about that same ticker. Anyway, guys, you get what I mean? I'll stop talking about it now. Get into that chat and vote for your favorite tickers every day. There we go. So now when I got stopped out of Apple, I flipped short, got 81s, wet my beak at 61s, so took 20 pennies right there. I lost about 10 on the original one. Let's see if this one wants to dead cat bounce and come down again. Be looking for this one to reject off 230 possibly here to make new lows. Keep your eye out on that. The future is now again below 20,200. It tried to go back above that. By future, I'm talking about the NQ December contract. Low of the day, 20,161. We're printing 7.2s, so there's a lot of weakness right now on the future. It's coming right back into lows. Tesla's on the way down. Amazon, NVIDIA. I mentioned, obviously, Tesla and Amazon. Well, yeah, they're all on the way down, except Apple right here. So Apple, only about 2 pennies in the money here. I'll be looking to add on the pops on Apple. What are you looking at, Satea?
For sure. So I was looking at Walmart, and I was in at 82.80, had a little bit of a paper hands, got out around 85s, and right when I got out, it just bangs down. I mean, I should have given it more room, to be honest. Realistically, I should have given it this day's high. 82.97, 83. I feel like that was a level where realistically it shouldn't have gone, and that is where I was wrong. I feel like I was just like, oh, my profits, I don't want to give up my profits. And you know what? I ended up losing money just because I didn't want to give it some more room. So that is really sad, but you live and you learn. And, you know, next time I will be very conscious of giving it the room that it deserves. So I'm looking at that. And then this is just a random question because someone pulled up Snapchat. So, I mean, how does Snapchat make money? Because I just feel like it's kind of a weird stock to invest in. Like, do you know how they make their money?
It's ads, but it's really soft. I just got to do a quick ad read.
Okay, do your ad read, yeah.
We're going to talk about that in a hot second. Guys, eSignal is the platform where you can trade smarter, not harder. Upgrade to that elite trading experience. It's going to let you analyze, it's going to let you strategize, and then after that, you'll be able to capitalize. You'll be able to see you'll be able to foresee profitable opportunities with the platform that fits your needs. You get infinite data, you get instant trading, you get to know where the market is moving before others, you know, with that lightning fast data and execution. It's also got amazing charts that change the game. You can customize and analyze the markets faster in the way that you want. It's also got better backtesting, better scanning. Very important for setting up a trading plan. You'll be able to predict the future by understanding the past. Make sure you are doing your backtesting. You get reliable real-time data, up to the second market information from hundreds of global markets. It's everything you need, all in one place. Don't miss a beat. Execute your best trades now. If you're ready to elevate your trading, scan that QR code on the bottom right of your screen or click the link in the description. We got Adair at the big desk.
Worth noting here, Apple on watch. I know this one's had so many headlines today. We have even more. Apparently, this company getting ready to release its MacBook Air models with this M4 chip by early 2025. And they've also apparently delayed their planned debut of the Mac Studio until later in 2025. So Mac Studio delay. But we're expecting this new M4 chip MacBook Air in early 2025, so early next year, guys, for AAPL.
Thank you very much for that. Dara, yes, Snapchat, they make money obviously off ads, but like, look who they're, I mean, I don't mean to disrespect young people, obviously it's not, but they don't have the most amount of buying power.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's not like these guys are printing with full-time jobs and, you know, big money, unless they're taking it from their parents, obviously. So it's like, you know, their segment, the advertising segment that they focus on, kind of a bit of a tougher look there. At least that's how I feel. I don't know. They seem to always have trouble. They try to monetize their user base, but it just always ends up coming a little bit short. I don't know how you feel. Are you using it as much?
I haven't used it since high school, to be honest. So that's why I just asked about it. I'm just like, I didn't even know that like it had a stock until as of recent. But I was just like, is this really worth investing into? Because like, I know they're using ads, for that revenue, but is that enough to really make you want to invest in it? I don't know. Yeah.
Not for me, I got to tell you the truth. Like, and look, let's just call a spade a spade. I mean, if they had executed well so far, it wouldn't be where it is right now. I mean, if they were printing meta money, you know what I mean? If they were able to do that kind of thing like Meta's doing, they'd be in a better position. They haven't been able to execute. I think it's that Spiegel guy, Evan Spiegel, I think he's the CEO of, all right, guys, we're printing huge here. We're 50 pennies in the money on the dead one, Apple. I'm looking for a break of 50 pennies. Well, I was 50 pennies. Now we're not. We're about 40. Looking for this one to drop below 229.50. I'd like to wet my beak there. I've already wet my beak a couple of times. Here comes 50 pennies again. AAPL weak on the day as a result of our friend Ming-Chi Kuo. He says that they're cutting about 10 million iPhone orders, or iPhone, the shipments there. Let me just make sure how many shares I have left. Okay, let's go ahead and wait over here. So today I'm going to wait for that 50 penny break, come what may. I'm going to put it at 40s. So yeah, Ming-Chi Kuo basically saying that that Apple's cutting production orders by about 10 million iPhones. Obviously, the implication from that is that the demand is weak. And if that is the case, obviously, then the market's going to sell off. We've got so much conflicting data over the past, I want to say, couple months, ever since the iPhone 16 was released, about whether or not demand was weak, strong, or indifferent. Now, for example, Verizon reported the other day, I think yesterday or the day before, and they were basically saying that people are waiting to upgrade their handsets, and they're not seeing that kind of demand from Apple. We got AT&T today, kind of said the same thing. Didn't say anything specifically about Apple, said handset demand for upgrades slowed down. Didn't mention Apple. Then we get the likes of JP Morgan and some other, I think it was Morgan Stanley as well, chiming in, saying from their analysis, supply chains look good. Then you have Ming-Chi Kuo throwing you that curveball. So this is the nature of the beast, man. You're just going to have to deal with that if you're going to be involved in these names. Stick to your conviction plays. Buy the best names. It helps you weather the storm, whatever the case may be, right? So this is my biggest position. I'm in from a long time ago. It's just about when we ring the profit bell. And I'm personally waiting for a couple of earnings reports. I need to see, whether or not the release of the AI features really helps that super cycle generate. Because right now, I don't think people are buying this thing hand over fist quite yet. I think that's just my inclination.
For sure.
How about you?
That makes sense. I was looking at NVIDIA. It's bamboozling everybody. I got out, around here. Then it wants to test, these lows around 137.48. Then it's bouncing back up. It's a crazy ride here with NVIDIA. So definitely on the watch out for that. I do want to see a little bit of a bounce up. I'm probably going to look around 138.94. We'll see if we can get there. Want to see what it does around there. But I was looking at, weirdly enough, Texas Instruments. And so I like it because it's approaching this $200 level. And so I like those psychological levels. Not only do I like the pre-market high, the pre-market low, the break of VWAP, above or below, but I do like those even dollar levels. And so I'm really looking at this as of right now. Don't necessarily know what I want to do with it yet. I mean, it is below VWAP, so typically that is a time where I do like to short. And it's breaking, below this kind of consolidation here. But it is at that psychological level, so I want to make sure that I'm not fighting with this level to go short. I think that if I'm going to post for the short, I'm probably going to do so around 199.90. If I can get that break, then I would be more convicted in the short here. But I'm looking at that really interesting level there for Texas Instruments. What else are you looking at? NVIDIA. NVIDIA, yeah, bamboozling as heck. So going back to Walmart, it broke down to 82.70, bounce. Oh, going to Adara, sorry.
So TSLA moving to the downside in our second Ming-Chi Kuo tweet of the day. Earlier, of course, we had Ming-Chi Kuo tweet about Apple and its production cut now saying, this is again, Ming-Chi Kuo is a supply chain analyst. He's saying here about Tesla giving some updates on their survey and production, saying that the more affordable new model, which has been called the Model 2, is unlikely to enter mass production until the second half of 2025 at the earliest, and saying the Model Y refresh is expected to start mass production in first quarter of 2025. So maybe Q1 2025 for that new Model Y, but it's unlikely we'll get the new Model 2, which is the more affordable model, until the second half of 2025 at the earliest. This is again according to Ming-Chi Kuo, who has now tweeted about a Mag 7 stock for the second time today, just hours before Tesla's earnings after the bell at 4:10 p.m., guys.
This guy's a menace to society, bro.
This guy. But I'm looking at the QQQs right now because someone said, or asked rather, any chance of a QQQ bounce? I mean, at this time, I don't know. I feel like that is asking for a lot as of right now. I feel like you really want to make sure that you're seeing at least, 3 to 4 15-minute candles for you to really decipher whether or not we will see that bounce. But it's just bleeding. It is bleeding, bleeding, bleeding. And I don't know where it's going to stop. I thought it would have stopped. Did it stop at the bus stop level? Yeah, we're breaking through that bus stop level, 487.50, and it's breaking below that. And so what's the next bus stop level? Not necessarily today, but 479, 480. That is the next bus stop level, so definitely bleeding there. But in order for a bounce, to be honest, you want to see probably a break above 490 in order for more confirmation for a bounce there. But it is still in a downtrend, and it really isn't a confirmation bounce until until you get above VWAP there or for 15-minute candles. So definitely not looking good for the QQQs right now. And then power hour, yeah, you could definitely have a bounce there at power hour. You want to see some steam there, but I don't know, is it enough conviction? Like if you're a prop firm trader and you have to get out at the end of the day, I don't think that power hour is just enough. But if you're just, long-term investing, swing trading, then I definitely think that power hour, you can give it some room there. But that is what I'm looking at. How about you, Sharif?
All right, I'm looking at defending this $3 level here on save. So I took it out at 3 last time because it was using it as resistance. And then it did the mother of all wiffle and waffles, rejecting 3. So once it took it on a decisive basis, I punched long, looking now for 3 to act as defense. We'll see if that ends up working out. Some size here at 5, I should mention. That's some good lottage there. It's about over 1,000 lots, but it's a $3 name, guys. So let's not get too concerned over here. SAVE up 44%-ish. On the day right now, looking to go more. I'm looking to defend 3 right now. I'm also looking at Apple getting short again. Oh, I missed it. There it is. I gave the 60 break. The dead one, Apple, is on the way down again. Here we go. It's been finding some support around that $29.50 area as I look at my 5-minute chart on the side over here. Now, what I'm trying to discern is if we're still putting in those lower lows and lower highs, and it definitely looks like there is. So we took a nice little short there off 230 on Apple, but now we want to get back in now that it looks like it's giving up the ghost again. Yeah, I don't know. I'm just going to steer clear of this. I think there's better trades to be had, like possibly a Tesla 10 exponential rejection right above that, maybe 213.25 or something like that. We'll see. I'll keep my eye on Apple here, but it does look like it is weakening again. Yeah, now it is definitely putting in those lower lows right back down below 2.5. There it goes, right down into 229.40. So good weakness there on AAPL. Back to SAV, that seller of note at 5. Here we go. We're at 5 again, 305 that is. Look at the wattage there. That's look at this. You're not going to convince me that this person is not the same order, nor that person is. They're just posting the same size on different gateways. And you see that repeated. 748, 748, 246, 246, 226, 226, 110, 110. Really? Okay, that's super interesting there. That feels like market makers posting that, though, to be quite honest. We'll see. But that's something to keep an eye out. There we go. We took them out. 306. That size at 5's gone. Now we're at 6. The size at 6 is not even nearly as big as 5, but we could have an iceberg here. I'm waiting at 7s. We'll see what we get here. 307s, I'm not seeing as much size again on the book at 7s as I do at 8s. Now we're seeing 7s. Can we take out 7s over here? So we got about, I'd say about 200, maybe a little bit less than that. Lots at 307, but we're going to do the zig and zag right now, back to 6 as we go. So it looks like we're going to have to pack our patience for this one. Yeah, it's got to cross 7, guys. That's the thing. It gets into 7, but it doesn't cross, so you don't get filled. That's kind of the nature of the beast when it comes to the spread. So it behooves you to know what that is, because that's the cost of doing business. If you're going to get into it, I know what you're doing over there. Yeah, you did. You flipped it there, then you flipped it there. You're innocent. No, nothing. Everything's okay there, Ram. Here we go. 7s again. This girl, bro. 7s again. Here we go. We're printing 7s again. Can we cross, Katina, man? Bro, I need you to buy like 10,000 shares of these so we can get cross, Katina, man. 307, still waiting at 7s. We'll pack our patience. Let's see what the dead one is doing. The dead one is on the way down. AAPL looks destined to take out that low of the day, 228.93. We're putting in a symphony of lower lows and lower highs right now. I missed this entry again into Apple. That's on me. So I'll look to do a little bit better next time. What are you looking at?
So I am looking at McDonald's. I don't know necessarily if we're going to get enough volume to really get up there, but I'm looking for the break of 299.45. And so what I really like, the fact that we came down here, bounced at 295.30, and then we're just holding above VWAP. And so I feel like where I'm wrong is the break below VWAP, but I think that if we can get to around 299.45, 299.50, I think maybe let me give it a little bit more room. Maybe the break of this high here, close to 300. Let's do 299.90. I feel like it really needs to get up there for me to see a real push up there. So I think I'm going to post there 299.90. And then I'll cross to 10 cents to 300. So I'm going to put that in there for McDonald's. And then someone's saying Tesla with a little bit of a smirky face. What is Tesla doing? Tesla, I mean, this looks, what's smirky about it? I mean, it looks like there's a little bit of a bounce here around 212.40 on the 30-minute. But the thing is, like, it hasn't closed yet. So I want to make sure that if this candle can close green and then we see another green candle and it could stay above around 213.65, then, you know, maybe we might see a little bit of a bounce on Tesla in the short term. But as of right now, still looking bearish, still, you know, a downtrend here. So I don't know, still looks pretty ugly to me. And like, if we look at the QQQs, I feel like that may even give us some signal as well. And this is still bleeding. And so, I don't know. I'm not necessarily convicted in the bounce in Tesla yet, unless the QQQ starts bouncing as well. So that is what I'm looking at. Qs are getting closer and closer to that gap fill area. A couple days ago, it seemed too far away.
Interesting.
What gap are you? Do you know what the gap that he may be talking about?
I don't.
No? Okay. So yeah, that's definitely interesting. QQQs, let's look here. Maybe let's look on the day. Yeah, I'm not too sure about what gap exactly, but on the daily, something that I'm looking at is around this 483.87. This was a bounce on October 8th, and I don't think that is very far off. That is probably my next bus stop level. I usually look on bus stop levels like, you know, a couple of days back, but I definitely think that this is a significant level, 483.80s, and then maybe around 480s as well. Definitely looking like it could bleed down there. Someone's saying KO stock analysis, please. So let's do a little bit of KO. We'll look on the 5-minute here. Okay, Coca-Cola. I do like this. I like the fact that it's curling above VWAP. I like the fact that it's breaking above the high. Really like that. Liking that a lot. Thank you. Shout out to that because this wasn't on my radar. I find every time I try to trade this stock, usually it's like low volume, but because there's earnings, I feel like it is a good time to trade this stock because there's going to be more volume in there because of, you know, the earnings traders and, you know, the earnings results in there. And so I really do like that, like the fact that it's above this high, above VWAP as well. My bus stop level for this is probably going to be the pre-market high, 70.30. And then there is kind of like this local high. It's not necessarily the high, but 68.95 is probably a level that I'm looking at. And then if we can break that 68, call it 69, I would say that level 70.25 is definitely something that I'm looking at. KO and KR. Let's look at KR as well. Wow.
KR?
KR. Like Kroger, yeah.
Got it.
And so, yeah, this one looks really nice as well. Someone mentioned it before, but I totally forgot to come back to it. Looking really nice. It's breaking, is that a candle? Yeah, it's breaking above this pre-market high, which I really like a lot. Really strong there, 57.10. That looks really good. Bus stop level that I'm looking at is... I mean, I feel like the bus stop level, it's kind of near it. Oh, okay, it's blasting through it. 57.18 is what I was looking at. But the next levels that I'm looking at is probably 57.43. That is Monday, September 30th. The high there, 57.35. And then if we look on a higher time frame, because where are we as of right now? Okay, I feel like this gives you more definitive bus stop levels. Another bus stop level I'm looking at is 57.66. That is Monday, April of 2024 high. And so that is something to look at. And then another bus stop level of 59.40. That was dating back from March 28th of 2022. So really nice. I feel like if you're a swing trader, a long-term investor, this is a really good time to get in as of right now, because we're breaking through those kind of levels where it was significant in like 2022. And this is like 2 years later. So looking really nice as well on Kroger. How about you, Sharif?
Good. So right now, a couple of things to update you guys on. Save, we took it out at, we got the print at 307, next print at 310s, but look what it did. It came back in and tested 3. So I moved up my stop because I was concerned that this one was going to tank. So keeping my eye on SAVE, looking for it to hold generally that $3 area. Also in Boeing at the 10 exponential, looking for this one to continue to do its thing, possibly, and to take out those highs at 158. It's been putting in higher lows right now above the volume weighted average price, but I'm concerned that this one gives up the bid. So packing my patience on this one. Up we go into the 70s again. Where are we long? We're long 76s. So I'm looking for that 158 break and take if it wants to ascend into that area. We seem to have a bit of support generally, 157.40, maybe 157 and a third. My stop's already in place. Let's see what happens here. Looking for this one to pop up a little bit more on BA. Apple really breaking down. I'm really disappointed with myself not having added into this. I was looking for that, setup for it to pop back into 230. Again, it didn't give that to me. Now it's below 229. It's looking like it wants to take out 228. The bleeding on Apple will not stop. It has been a big red day today for AAPL. Now 3.17 in negative territory, only outdone by Nvidia, which is down 3.82. Third, Amazon at almost 3%, 2.89. The Cybertruck selling off aggressively, and same with Meta. They're both in the high 2% in negative territory. So keeping my eye on all these trades right now, watching whether Save wants to hold above 3. As I said, we've moved up the stop, still whiffling and waffling with that 2/3 of a dollar, half dollar with BA, as it's really having trouble ascending into the high 5.7s, 157s, excuse me. So showing me 68 right now on the ask and 56 on the bid. Looking for this one to pop up. It looks like it's generally maybe holding 157.40. We only have a few minutes left in the show. Hope everybody had an amazing day. It will be Joe on tomorrow, and he's going to be doing the Iron Condor lesson. So if you're into that kind of thing, if you want to get your options learned on, make sure to join us. And then we've got Satya doing the lesson on Friday, but she's not going to tell us what she's doing. You're going to have to tune in to find out.
Tune in, hit the like, hit the subscribe, and then you will see what the lesson will be. So come on in on Friday.
I love it. All right, guys, we got another couple of minutes left. We'll keep a look over here at some of the small cap gappers. What are they doing? Oh, wow. Okay, so one small cap gapper that we certainly had our eye on the day, LRHC is really breaking up. LRHC, let me give them this ram before we go over here. This one definitely was below VWAP the majority of the day. As you can see, the higher lows came into play, and we just took out that top over here at $1.45, weaseling into $1.50. Be careful with this one. It was a bamboozler, but it's up a respectable 195%. The high of the day at $1.78. We're having trouble, though, with 150. So we'll have to pack our patience if you're involved in that trade. Donald John Trump, we didn't say much about this today. It looks like a sound wave, zigging and zagging, a little bit above VWAP, a little bit below. It wasn't respecting VWAP, Ram. It wasn't respecting VWAP, but now it does look like it's actually using it to reject off that level. So keep your eye on that one. I'm sure the big kahunas will be covering it. Donald John Trump, super interesting yesterday. Not much today. It gapped up. It's still up 3.4%, but it didn't really do much during.
I took a peek at it, and it wasn't doing too much. Just a little bit of choppy action. Maybe we'll check in tomorrow and see if there's more volume there.
All right, guys. It is now 2 o'clock, so Joe and I will see you tomorrow. Same bat time, same bat channel. Take a big kahunas.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much there.
Audio check.
Yeah, well, I had to check because I wasn't even.